Talking Ball Y'all Media proudly brings to you Friday Night Gridiron, powered by Diamond Productions. Their motto is, we don't set the bar, we raise it. Now let's head out to the stadium and join the voice of the Maroon Tide, Clay Sweet and Ricky Whitaker.
Welcome in to League Triplet Stadium tonight as round 2 of the 6A playoffs. Only 8 teams remain in the 6A classification here in this second round of the playoffs. I'm Clay Sweet. To my right, as always, Ricky Whitaker. And Rick, not only round 2 of the 6A playoffs, but round 2 of this ball game at the same location. About a little over a month ago, these two tied up, and we'll get to see it again tonight. Higher stakes, though, tonight. It's win or go home.
Yeah, it is, man. I tell you, for a fall Friday night, boy, it is just balmy out here. 74 degrees. We had a light mist that came in. I don't think it's going to impact playing conditions at all, but it's enough to bring that humidity in. And you said it, Clay. It's actually eerily similar to the game a year ago in the second round. Same thing. It was a 3 seed with George County. We beat them in district play. They went to so-so and got the upset. We had them in the second round. So going to be a very, very, very similar situation for the Tide tonight.
Yeah, and what's similar even at that, too, is the quarterback position, right? George County just scared you to death because at that time they had Deuce Knight. You informed me earlier in the day who's going to make a first start over at Auburn as a true freshman. That tells you all you need to know. But on the high school level, Rick, I'm not sure that the kid we're playing tonight hasn't been more dangerous because of the way that he's willing to run the football, and that being Cananan. He had a phenomenal game a week ago against West Jones. We'll get a look in the second segment and talk further about the way that he was able to do that, but kind of give our listeners a snapshot of what this quarterback position looks like and what you know about the Hawks.
Yeah, so what he's done, he's always been a very, very good runner. He said that on the podcast this week. It's kind enough to be our guest, and he broke down that he wanted to work on that, right? He wanted to work on that element of his game, the throwing side of it, and we saw that. We saw him light it up. 3,500 yards or so is what he's at on the year, and really a mix of passing and running, but he's developed very much more into a passing threat.
Yeah, and that passing threat, or will it be the ground and pound? They used him basically at times last week, Rick, just like a tailback. It was almost like he was lined up at Wildcat, but then he broke West Jones' back with a couple big throws. You can't get relaxed either way with Mr. Cananan. Going to be interesting to see. You've got the defensive battle, that kind of chess match. What kind of adjustments are the Tide willing to make in a big win? You look back at that ball game, Tide almost scored 60 points in that first ball game. So how do both defenses kind of adjust to one another? What do you look for the Hawks potentially against this potent ground game? Rick, Tide averaging over 360 just on the ground per game. That's over 360 yards per ball game on the ground. Any adjustment that the Hawks can make in a month of high school football? You saw them play really good defensive football, obviously, against West Jones a week ago.
Yeah, when you go back and look at the game when we matched up before, Clay, Cananan had his best, one of his season highs in the air, 292. I think he was only better against Long Beach the following week. So he's got to feel pretty confident in his ability to throw the football. So for the Maroon Tide defense, that's going to be their biggest adjustment. You got to make sure you're where you're supposed to be. You're not getting sucked in. And look, he's gotten really good at making you think he's going to run it, and he'll pull up at the line of scrimmage and throw it. So we got to play disciplined football. For the Hawks, this is where it gets interesting. You look back last week against West Jones. I get it. It's more of a passing team. They run out a shotgun. But they ran a pretty pedestrian four-man look. What they did with that, they gave up some plays, but they didn't take too many chances, right? There's like, look, we'll give you the 4 or 5 yards. When they played Picayune a few weeks ago, they had 6, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, and they blitzed a lot. Most of the times, they blitzed in a hole that Zay Dennis wasn't in. And that Picayune offense, you mentioned what they're averaging on the year. They had about 365 at the half. It was a dominant performance. They're going to have to change something there. Do they take chances? And, hey, you've got D'Iberville on film to look at. You got Pearl River Central to look at on film, and that's two defenses that are smaller like the Hancock Hawks are. Do they do that? They come out with something more pedestrian, but certainly they can't come out the way they did against Picayune in a lineup like that.
Yeah, and if you're Hancock's defense, you get a second chance and an oddity in a rematch, and we get them in back-to-back years in this second round matchup. We've got a doozy, I think, in front of us tonight. We're about 22 minutes away from kickoff. We're in our Mossy Picayune pregame show. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. When we return, you'll hear from the head ball coach, Cody Steigner, on the other side of this 2-minute break.
Thanks for stopping by Mossy Picayune. We're proud to be your family-owned GM Superstore, serving Mississippi and Louisiana with new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here, you're more than just a customer, you're part of the Mossy family. We offer a family-friendly atmosphere backed by GM-certified parts and service and a team that's here to help you every step of the way. Mossy Picayune, it's small-town friendly service with big-time savings.
Since 2017, Cruz Law Firm has proudly served the people of South Mississippi with dedication, skill, and results. Whether you are facing a complex legal battle or simply need trusted guidance, our team will work tirelessly to deliver the outcome you deserve. Bill and his experienced team handle a wide range of legal matters, from real estate closings to personal injury, and from wills and probate to criminal defense. We've got you covered. When life gets complicated, we're here to simplify the process and fight for you. With 2 convenient locations in Pearl River County, Cruz Law Firm is ready to stand by your side. Call 769-242-2500 to schedule a consultation for your specific need. That's 769-242-2500, because your future is worth fighting for.
Standing by with Cody Steigner on our Mossy Picayune pregame show. Cody, man, once again, we get to continue playing football here, and that's a good thing this time of year. Round 2, you get an opponent we saw a little over a month ago, and the Hawks. Tell us about your week of practice preparing for this one tonight.
Well, it's just like any kind of week during the playoffs. I thought we got better than we did last week in practice. Our kids really were focused and locked in. We're playing a common opponent. We got the better of them last time, but you didn't see that in the way we practiced this week. Normally it was a bunch of 15 through 18-year-old kids. You kind of think, they might get a little time off and maybe thinking they're going to get out here with a breeze, but they understand what the task at hand, where it's do or die, it's win or go home. So I was just really pleased with how we practiced this week.
Coach, I was pleased in the way we played a week ago. That was probably our most complete game. Scored every time we had it. Defense played really well. When you studied tape, what did that game a week ago look like?
It was picking football. We were very physical up front on both sides of the football. Zay got physical running the ball downhill, so did Moto, and Cole delivered some beautiful balls. And if you go back and watch the film, he delivered some beautiful blocks as well. That's just what we want to do. This time of the year, we want to be physical for 4 quarters, for 48 minutes, and I'm really proud of our guys. We had one little slip up there on defense. We got caught cheating, peeking in the backfield, but hey, that happens, and that's what we discussed with Zay Richardson right there. That's what we look for on other teams, and he got better as the game went along in that aspect. So I was just proud of how we responded from the week before that, because you never, losses don't define you, but you can learn from them, and I think our kids learned a lot about this team and learned about themselves, and you can see that. They had a lot of player-led meetings starting last week, and it's been every day, and I think that's been really beneficial to this football team.
Coach, we were talking about it off the air, how important when you don't put positions above one another, but in this offense, we need the fullback spot. That's no secret. And then you get leadership back and Macon Burnett, and he had a physical football game coming off a long delay from an injury that he's fought back from. But how important was to have him back?
Oh, it was great. I've never seen anybody more hungry to get back on the football field. He just loves to play this game, and it showed. Just when he showed up on Monday, he was the first one in the field house, the first one dressed. He was chomping at the bit to get out here on this practice field, and same thing with Friday night, man. I don't know if you could hear, they announced his name for being the captain. This place got electric out here, and we stood behind him because I think they know how much this game means to him and how much he means to us, and so it's been a godsend to have him back.
Coach, I can hear it in you. Stuff like that. You're a coach. You can preach. Word is, you gave a hell of a speech pregame last week as well. But when you
look at it, Coach, that's contagious. That can spread across the locker room, maybe more than what y'all can do. I mean, y'all, you say it, the best teams are player-led, and that's got to rub off on the younger guys.
Yeah, and and it's like we break it down to when they break it down every day, family. This team is truly a family, and that's from myself all the way down. It's everybody. It takes all of us. We always say it. All we need is all we got, and we're all we got. And so, I just love these guys to death. I know they love each other, and we got a little new saying. It's HBO help a brother out, and they've been helping their brothers out. And you're really seeing that a lot with them right now. And I'm just, what, this ain't over with yet. We're not trained. Let's keep these train on the tracks and see how far we can keep rolling with it.
Coach, when you look at Hancock, man, there's not a one-man team. It takes help around it, but 3 for them is special. The Cananan kid who we got a chance to visit with, he was special off the field as well, kind of what you would expect. He puts a certain fear in you just because of the way he can make plays, whether he keeps it himself or he throws the football from that quarterback spot.
He definitely scares you. Coach Lee taught me a long time ago. Coach Triple actually told him this. He said there's a couple ways to win football games. One is you have the numbers where you just outnumber them by strength, and he said, or 2, have the best player on the field. And that guy is right up there. When you've been put in that category, and so it's going to take a tough challenge to stop him. I mean, he's as good as advertised, and I know his dad, so I listened to an interview. It sounded like I know the class act kid, and I'd love to pull for him, but not tonight.
Right.
But I mean, we're up to the challenge, and I'm sure he is too. He's a gamer, and it's gonna be a good football game, a good night for it. It's a little hot, more hotter than I expected, but hey, we're here. We're second round. It's a good chance to move on to hopefully get another Monday for Thanksgiving week.
Coach, we talk about how the player he is. I think a player like that potentially gets Nolan's attention. We've seen Nolan had all the pub coming into the year, but I think he's played some of his better football in the last 3 or 4 weeks, right when we really kind of called on him to do that. What are you seeing out of Nolan Wilson?
He has. He's kind of, his leadership level has stepped up tenfold. I mean, he's the one who started the player-led meetings, and I think, when he started doing that, he understood that his game needs to step up, and, he's already playing at a high level, but once he started doing that, like, you really saw a different level out of Nolan right there, and man, it's just so good to have a player like that on our team and leading by example, but also getting everybody to pull the rope in the same direction. That's a good one to have on the end of the rope, pulling us all in the same direction.
Absolutely, Coach. I see this when I'm out here trying to get some exercise on Sunday, and then Monday when I slip in. Let's just keep stacking those Sunday film sessions, those Monday practices together. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you. Roll Tide, roll.
So there, Rick, a chance to hear from Cody Stogner. And then my favorite segment of our Mossy Picayune pregame show is to be able to ask you. You're trying to sort that out. You're trying to steal this favorite segment with some of the graphics and some of the things you've been adding to our Mossy, but it's still running in first place. Let's get your thoughts on what you hear from Coach Stogner there.
Man, just the unity that's coming together with this team now. I think that's the thing. Look, you shared a pretty special moment on our podcast this week, something that was sentimental to you. But here's the thing, man. You didn't know back then how much you would appreciate that moment now. So for middle-aged guys to tell these kids that, it's hard for them to grasp it. But here's what's happening. You look down on the field tonight, Darrell Smith, and he was in a game at Louisiana Lafayette last night. Got to tune in and watch that. Coops here, Tristan Cooper, B.J. Dupree, Marion Tyson's been out here. These are guys that can now come in and tell these kids, like, look, this is good. Like, you got to take advantage of this moment. You won't know how much you miss it when you leave here. So you're seeing that. And, man, I love the player-led meetings. And to say that your four-star guy, maybe one of the most touted defensive tackles in the state, maybe in the country, Alabama commit, is starting to lead these player-led meetings. And Cody said it, man. He said they're pulling from the front now, right? That's how you lead. You pull from the front. You don't push from the back. You pull from the front. That's a really good thing to see. I think they're finally getting the magnitude of what it is. It certainly seemed that way field level tonight. But stopping Cananan, and Cody mentioned it, that's going to be task number one.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rick, and it is tangible. You could feel it with Macon being back a week ago. Cody mentioned it briefly in that the response, right? You had that tough loss to end the regular season. The Tide came up aces a week ago. We'll see if that trend continues and keep this train rolling, that Cody Steigner just talked about. Rick, if we were able to win, the potential matchup is we'll get a look now at the bracket here in 6A football. We'll get a look and see, like, who's left. We've talked about only 8 teams remaining on those 6A level. Let's get a look now, Rick, at the way that this bracket plays out.
We'll start on in the south side of it in our bracket. On our side, everyone's going to be paying attention, including us. We're going to be looking really close at that Hattiesburg-Pascagoula game. I think it's going to be a great ball game. Pascagoula can get that win in Hattiesburg. They'll come here. We'll host South State if we can take care of business tonight. If they lose and we were to win, we've got to go to Hattiesburg. But it's interesting, too. Warren Central and Lake Cormorant, they're still alive. And then Neshoba Central, who came from behind to beat Panola last week, they're going to be playing off against Ridgeland. So that's the 8 teams that are left. So, boy, if you're one of the 8 right now, you're in a small number that's playing football here still in late November.
Yeah, it's a really neat thing to kind of embrace if you're a fan base of the Tide, to be one of the few left remaining. One that is not left is the returning champ. That's Grenada. The Chargers went down to that Ridgeland team that you just talked about. And so the defending champs no longer in it. Somebody different will win it here on the 6A level this season. So that will be of interest, as you will have a new 6A champ. It won't be kind of new to the Tide. Tide are used to making those deep runs. We're just a couple plays away from beating Hattiesburg. So that would be an intriguing matchup in the next round. Or Pascagoula. If you remember the Pascagoula score from earlier this year, that was a game, Rick, that was 35-34 at the half. Picayune got a field goal. Gula got nothing in the second half. That was a really good, at the time, one of the more intriguing, one of the best halves of football. I mean, it was back and forth. So that's what potentially lays in wait for the Tide, but have to take care of business here on your home field. And a worthy opponent. Proved that last week. Rick, we talk about it a lot. Anybody familiar with Picayune football is familiar with West Jones. That's one of the top 5 across the state places to go in and try to win a ball game. It is a tough, tough atmosphere. They're well coached. And so when you flip on the film, you've already talked about some of those points, but how did that win maybe translate to Hancock playing a different style of football here tonight against the Maroon Tide? What might have they found a week ago in that win over the Mustangs?
Well, let's start with Canan's numbers. 17 for 25, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air, 33 rush yards, 190 yards and a touchdown. Canan kind of alluded to it when we spoke with him this week. I think they went in with the goal of throwing it around, but that's not how the game went. He ended up carrying it on his back. But here's what you see in that. You look at the number of plays that they ran, and we'll see similar to this, maybe even a little higher with Zay Dennis. 78% of their plays, that's nearly 80% of all their plays, it's either his arm or his legs. He's going to be the guy. Cody said it. You got to have the best player on the field. He's going to be the best player that's dressed in the red and white tonight. He's a guy to look at. But this is the other thing, 33 pass plays to 42 rushing plays. So they ran probably a lot more than they wanted to. I think that they'll dictate or try to let Canaan dictate what the defense is doing and how they adjust their game. So about half the time, what we've seen, 50% or more, they line up in trips. Trips to the wide side of the field, one wide receiver out to the top, and then they'll have Hopgood in the back with him. All right, that's their base package. They can do everything out of that. They can run the zone read. Canan can call his own number, and then they can also pass out of that. They have some good plays where they'll sneak Hopgood out with some combination routes to the middle. But you go back a week ago, and this is what the Maroon Tide has to be on the lookout for, is all of their scoring plays, they were lined up in an empty set. Has 2 wide receivers to each side with a tight end. That's Aiden Harvanek. And, boy, what he does so good, he slips out and goes right between those linebackers up the seam. That was 14 big points. Hit him one for 23 yards and hit him with another one for 46. It was the backbreaker that iced that game for the Hawks. So we got to be aware of that.
Yeah, that's some things to look for, Rick. What a bit scares me, you've got that literally the X's and O's and broke out the old highlighter this week. What scares me a bit about that play is there was any plays last week that bothered us. There weren't many. That was nearly a complete game. It was a similar route that you heard Cody Stogner, that's the scoring play, is pretty similar to what you've drawn up here that George County was able to hit the Tide against. And so going to have to be aware of that.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing. This is how that works. So what we did well in the last matchup, Cananan only had 87. They only had 87 total yards rushing, all right? So he did his damage to us through the air. 292, that was one of his better games. We said that already. But what makes that so hard for our linebackers is if he can get himself involved in the running game, you're backing up about a half second later than you normally would, and that tight end's already past you at that point.
Yeah, it's the old Tebow effect when he used to be able to create eyeballs on him and throw it past guys. We'll break now for the anthem. We'll return with your description of how they're dressed in the kickoff of tonight's action.
Thanks for stopping by Marcia Picayune. We're proud to be your family-owned GM Superstore, serving Mississippi and Louisiana with new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here, you're more than just a customer, you're part of the Marcy family. We offer a family-friendly atmosphere backed by GM-certified parts and service and a team that's here to help you every step of the way. Marcia Picayune, it's small-town friendly service with big-time savings.
Exotic Stone specializes in a variety of natural and manufactured stone and has proudly provided exceptional service, quality work, and low prices to the residents of Pearl River County and beyond for the past 17 years. They have two locations, 6895 Highway 11 in Carriere or 1171 Highway 90 in Bay St. Louis. Exotic Stones is ready to support all your commercial and residential projects. Give Angela Burmaster a call at 504-606-3170 or stop by one of their convenient locations to view their selection or to request a quote, and you'll be happy that you made Exotic Stones your choice.
Another beautiful job by the ROTC and the Picayune Maroon Tide band with the anthem presentation of the colors and our flag. And then Rick, the Hawks have their 4 captains out, 4 really good football players. I'll let you tell our folks on the live stream, if you're watching on the booth cam, I've tried to put the comment in a link so you can go find the actual game action. We kind of use this booth cam as a commercial for it. But tell our stream viewers about the captains for the Hancock Hawks.
The 2 offensive guys to lead things off that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Number 1, Colton Hopgood, and number 3, Kyson Cananan. And you've got a couple of seniors out with them. That's going to be number 55, Reed Brown, middle linebacker, and number 43, Mr. Jackson Knight, senior.
Knight's a really good player, Rick. We saw him be really good in their punt game the first ball game, but he comes in with 63 tackles, 14 tackles for a loss. He's a really good player for the Hawks. They'll be in white bottoms, white tops trimmed out in red, that deep navy blue for their headgear with the Hawk emblem on the side. On the far side for the Tide, going to roll out some really good players as well for the captains. 1 going to stay in that list, and 2, maybe that's the exact same captains from a week ago now that I'm kind of putting it together, is that will be Colt Robertson, Macon Burnett. You've got Javen Bolden and Nolan Wilson, and that's 4 really good football players for the Maroon Tide. What pageantry is that, Rick? We appreciate Diamond Productions, Pearl River Community College, and Malsey of Picayune with their pregame sponsor. But boy, the sights, the sounds that come on a high school football Friday night, always special. But when you get some ante that is up like it has tonight, the stakes a bit higher, and this winner go home round 2. Special scene here at Lee Triplett Stadium tonight.
It is, man. Doesn't get a whole lot better than this. And just looking at these guys on the field, Clay, Kyson Canan's going to stand about 6'3", Nolan Wilson 6'4". A couple of things that could be opportunities for Nolan and company on that defensive front. We saw Wes Jones got to bat a couple balls down at the line of scrimmage. He's tall enough to do that if he can get his arms up. That could be a big play for him. And you can't say a whole lot of anything negative about Cananan, but one thing that he will do, Clay, he's a guy who's an athlete, he's a competitor, but sometimes those guys will push it a little bit too hard and give you one. Got to be opportunistic. He'll try to fit one into a window, and we could get some picks on that. Had some turnovers against him last time we played, and he gave one up to Wes Jones last week.
Yeah, he did. He talked about that response, maybe one of the more mature moments when you could hear a kid respond after a turnover to start a playoff game. The gunslinger himself, Brett Favre, a nod of the cap back to Kyson Cananan, and the way that he has played. Got a praise and a attaboy out on the Facebook machine. That's got to be pretty cool, right, Rick? You're walking through your senior year. You get to visit with you and I on the podcast, and then that went way, way, way down the list when the gunslinger Brett Favre kind of tipped the cap back to Kyson
Oh, look,
Cananan.
they were talking about it, man, and the fan base that got here early, 3 or 4 different people, man, said, man, Brett Favre reached out. Did you see that? I mean, they were all talking about it.
Oh, heck yeah, man. That is cool. As the Hawks have made their way to the sideline near as Ricky and I on the far side, the Tide have done the same. Maroon Tide going to be in those maroon bottoms, maroon tops trimmed out in white and gray, that beautiful maroon headgear for the Tide. Tide looking to play on the day after Thanksgiving. Traditional game here for the Tide to be able to win and advance, trying to make it to that South State Championship. Have to take care of business tonight against an in-district Hancock Hawk team that you were able to hang nearly 60 on, Rick, but you begged the guys on the podcast this week to forget all about that, because that you can't borrow them. You couldn't carry them over. That score from a month ago means nothing as we're about to get this one kicked off.
Nope, it's just a couple of 2-0 teams right now in playoffs. And, boy, a good crowd from Hancock. Band's been loud. Even got the Hancock mascot on the field.
You know, you knew they would travel well with these kind of stakes. Won their first playoff game in a long, long time on the road a week ago in Sosa, Mississippi. And we've talked about it ad nauseum. We'll not bring it up again, but it's hard to overstate how tough a place that is to win a ball game. Edgar Cruz set to kick it off. Tide going to kick it off to get things started. What about this, Rick? He's got 31 touchbacks on the year, does Edgar Cruz. We'll call him Eddie through times tonight. He's over on that right hash. He's got that pink mouthpiece. Takes his drop back and now over to his left. And we are underway. Eddie's hit a shorter kick, going to bounce at about the 25 and go out of bounds. We have not seen that, Rick, since maybe week 1 or 2. Just a strange kick there from Cruz. We just gave his touchback numbers. That's a bit different from Mr. Cruz. Not sure if that was a designed kick there, but either way, you're going to go from a normal kind of 20 starting field position for our opponents so many times this year to a 35, which is a big deal. You get a 15-yard play kind of right off the bat.
Yeah, not a good way to start there. Cananan was back deep. It makes you wonder if they were trying to bloop one in front of him. And Hawks going to come out in the formation we talked about. Going to be trips to the wide side of the field, one man up top.
Well, see what the Tide can do defensively against this look. Cananan calls for it. He's gotten it out to Hobgood. Just a short pass. It's caught, but dropped pretty immediately after the catch. That was good play there by our linebacker and Amari Scott. Over the top help, and there, if he needed it, was Cam Quinn. Good job in coverage for the Tide.
Yep, minimal gain. That's the one we drew up.
2nd and 6. Hancock now with it at the Tide 39-yard line. 3 wides to the top of your screen. Hobgood, the tailback, off his left hip. Screen, and it's picked off. Tide have it. That is Brody Kirkland. He's still alive. 15. Go, senior, go. Brody Kirkland has picked it off. They're going to say he was down, potentially, but Kirkland with a huge play here, Ricky Whitaker, had the screen they thought set up, but Brody Kirkland, a senior, slipped right in front of it, made a really, really nice catch. And then they're going to say he was down, I guess, at about the 21-yard line. They'll take the pick six off the board, but what a start there by Brody Kirkland.
What a heady play to set that up. I want to describe that for our listeners. Kirkland looks like he's blitzing. He's lined up in the gap. Cananan looks over. He doesn't think he's going to be there. Boy, he rolls back out. The guy that no one thought was going to be in that position and read it. Great play design there by Brody Kirkland. Well executed by him and great play call by Coach Hayden.
We've picked on that coverage from that group a little bit this year, up to the task. Here's Dennis, 21 yards out. Did he score with his first touch? He's awfully close. If he didn't, he did. 21-yard touchdown run by Zay Dennis. And look at this start for the home team. Tied up on top 6-0 with 11:03 left here in our opening quarter. Didn't take Dennis long to get that score. One touch, one score for the Tide offensively after a monster defensive start.
Yeah, what a great, great play there.
Dennis with his vision and then toughness, Rick. I mean, he carried a Hawk with him into the end zone. A great run there by Mr. Zay Dennis. There's a flag down as we'll get a pause here before the PAT. Waiting to see what this is all about. They're going to leave the PAT. They're not going to tell us. The white hat is writing in his little notebook after the fact, so somebody's getting a note made by their name. He'll come over and tell Coach King about it.
I didn't know it was a secret. It sounds like it's a secret, right?
Yep, he hasn't indicated what has gone on just yet. Now he's going to talk to Coach King about it.
I mean, you got to give a signal for something, right?
Yeah, you would think. Boy, what a start here. The pick from Brody Kirkland, senior linebacker. Then you get a 21-yard touchdown run on the next snap by Zay Dennis.
Yeah, boy, just a textbook. That is a proud moment, playing that position and seeing someone execute a play like that. Just loved every bit of it.
Dennis now with his 26th rushing touchdown on the year. 2K Zay's over 2,200 rushing yards. Just phenomenal year here for Zay Dennis. A low snap, a great hold, and a good kick. Tied on top, 7-0. Rick, give us that brief scoring summary, that Diamond Production scoring summary.
One play, Clay, 11:13 on the clock. Took 10 seconds for Zay Dennis to go 21 yards for his first touchdown of the night. And you look at it, man, only 47 seconds of game time here in the first quarter. We've already had an interception, and Picayune's already on the board. A great start for the Maroon Tide. That's the tone that you wanted to set.
What's so interesting, too, just getting a visit with the young man earlier, is we already know his response. Like he talked about it. He talked about being in a tough spot on the road, same type scenario the Hawks faced a week ago. So the Tide just can't relax, even with this early lead, 7-0, just 57 seconds gone in this ball game.
Yep, and that time, Clay, I mean, it was all on Brody Kirkland. There wasn't he didn't try to force anything there. He just disguised it so well.
Yeah, that was a good job there, Rick, by you pointing out both the effort by the young man and the staff. Hancock not happy with where this one is potentially being teed up, I think, after the penalty. Must have been against the Tide because they are going to put it back at the Tide 25. Appreciate Diamond Productions helping us getting this live stream where it needs to be this year. Jackson Harrelson up top, bringing you the sites. If you're on the live stream and you like what you see, please share it.
And what this would tell us, Clay, is it was probably a personal foul, excessive celebration on someone for the Maroon Tide. You don't want to get too many of those, especially in playoff time.
Can't get one more if you're that individual.
And
we've already seen the results of that.
I think that's what they were writing down.
Yeah, they wrote a number down. We'll try to find out from Ducker who that number was. They're going to let Zay haul off and kick this one. It'll be fielded at the 35 or of the Hawks, still alive up to the 44 of Hancock. That's where they will start their second drive. So you got a starting drive at the 35, and now at, I believe it's going to be the 44. Pretty good starting field position for the Hawks on both of these opening drives.
Yep.
Which
really
Cruz had to kick it back at the 25, and so some of that silly stuff, Slick, some of that yardage piles up. You kind of helping your opponent along with that personal foul. They'll put it at the 43, and there's Cananan. We saw him do this a lot a week ago, and he can really do it. Across midfield up to the 41 of the Tide before he's escorted out of bounds. We'll see what the penalty flag will result in, but he's got a good little pause to him too, Rick. He doesn't just get it and hit it. He's going to wait, let his vision tell him where to go, and let those blocks develop. Let's see if one of those blocks was of the illegal nature. We'll wait and see once they tell us.
Yep,
and it will be a hold. It'll be a hold against the Hawks. It will back this play up.
Same package for the Hawks. Trips, we said they could operate their whole offense out of that formation, and that time we had him at the point of attack, just couldn't wrap him up.
And this is that oddity, that point of the foul spot, so it's going to be at the 45. Hancock will actually gain a couple yards on the play after the penalty yardage is marked back. I'm showing it 1st and 8. 2 wides to the bottom of your screen, 1 up top. Hobgood to tailback off the right hip of Cananan. Pump fake, and he's got a guy. Far sideline. It's caught. 25 down to the 18. A beautiful shoulder pump fake. Nice show there, and then a run by. That was a nice route by Bryson Thomas, who had gotten himself open off the pump fake, and now the Hawks cooking inside the 20 of the Tide to the 18.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot from them, too, from that long wide receiver just runs a hitch and go, and we bite on it, and it's a good play call.
Yeah, I believe that was Fortenberry over in coverage. Darius, a really good corner, and he's got room to run, does Cananan. Look at this response. Didn't take long for Kyson Cananan. Going to call his own number, 18 yards off the left side, and we're a PAT away from being even. Beautiful response here for the Hawks. 2 touchdowns within the first minute and a half of action. 1 from each side. We'll see if the PAT gets it to even.
Yeah, for the Maroon Tide, all that momentum and intensity you had kind of goes away, so you got to go make it again.
Absolutely. We had a nice pitch, good catch, kind of chunk play of that drive was the throw, the shoulder head fake on the hitch. Thompson secured it, and then Cananan with a couple runs himself, Rick, and that's how we've gotten a 7-7 with 10:33 to go in the opening quarter.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You've got to wrap him up at the point of attack. Once he gets past that first line, he's very, very hard to bring down at that point. It takes him a little while to get his speed up. You mentioned that kind of delay. But, boy, when he gets his foot in the ground and moves, he's got some great speed.
Yeah, told us this week what a 4.4, 4.5 type speed, and that is his 19th touchdown on the ground. You pair that with 19 through the air. You talk about balance. He's a one-man type show. He's got some helpers beside him. Thompson certainly proved that with the catch. But when you're looking balance offensively, Rick, your quarterback's got 19 rushing touchdowns and 19 through the air. Doesn't get much more balance than that from the Hawks' perspective.
And now you got to be on the lookout for the onside kick. We're up a possession on them right now. They'd love to get that back.
That's a good call. I'd be onside aware each and every kick, to be honest, unless something changes from that side, as it will be Trahan set to kick it for the Hawks back at his 40. Slow approach. Now he's sped up and kicked it. He has boomed it. Look at this kick. Trahan puts it 6 yards deep. Very well done there by Nathan Trahan. Senior, 6'3", 170. Put a boot into that one. No return. Tide going to start it at their 20-yard line. 7-7, Rick. Early fireworks in this one.
Yeah, it's been everything we thought it would be.
Tide, you said it, man, got off to a phenomenal start, and the Hawks wiped that away pretty quickly. 60-plus yard drive to get it to even on just 3 or 4 plays. See how the Tide respond. Got 80 yards in front of them, set up at the own 20. Here's Dennis again. He's in the space again. Look at this kid go. 40, 30 of the Hawks. Wow, look at this. 2 touches, 2 touchdowns. Zay Dennis, an 80-yard home run from Mr. Dennis. Wow, what a start from the junior. 27 touchdowns on the year now for 2K Zay. As Mr. Dennis got loose over on the right side, Rick, and tremendous pull-away speed over on that far sideline. Look at this football game. We're not even 2 minutes in. It's 13-7 as we await the Exotic Stone point after. Good snap, good hold, kick from Cruz is good. 14-7. Rick, what are we seeing here? Talk about early fireworks. This has been something to behold at the start.
So, ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your screens. This is not an error. Mr. Zay Dennis has 2 rushes and 101 yards. How long did it take him to go 80 yards? 13 seconds. 1 play, 13 seconds. Took him 10 to go 21, but 13. And what I loved about that, Clay, like he was slowing down about the 30. He sped up. He hit a different gear. He hit 5th gear there and just pulled away.
Yeah, he got hawked down last week, and he wasn't getting hawked down this week. He, as you said, hit a different gear.
But interesting, Clay, Hancock lining up exactly the way they did against Picayune the last time they played them. Didn't work then, and it's certainly not working now.
Coach King having his way with this official nearest to us, the Hancock Hawks head coach. Keith Quinn checking in on the booth cam. Got to see his cousin just reel off a 80-yard home run to keep doing his thing over at Mississippi Gulf Coast on the hardwood. Former Tidesman basketball player. 14-7, Tide on top, 10-20 remaining in our opening quarter. Rick, not even 2 minutes deep into this ball game, and we've seen 3 touchdowns.
I mean, we made a look at the record books, man. Has anyone ever had 101 yards in 2 minutes?
Oh, ball miss. Handle Tide have it off the face mask of the returner. And the Tide have it at the 27. That's Jamari Hathorne able to retrieve a mishandled kick. And so the Tide going to have a chance to go right back to work offensively. It was another high-hanging but short kick off the boot of Edgar Cruz and just off the face mask. Could not squeeze it. I believe that was Wedgeworth trying to grab it. And Hathorne going to have it, Rick. They're going to put it at the 28-yard line of Hancock. That's where Tide will have a short field. Look at the start of this one. What a wild one. Here come the Tide offense. 28 of Hancock over on that left hash. You'll have Dennis back at tailback, Macon Burnett at the fullback position. I'll give to Dennis, why not? Here, a much better job defensively. Leading the way, getting there first. That was Dalton Rose, the middle linebacker. Going to be actually a loss of 1 there, Rick. Brings Zay's average down to what, about 50 yards a touch here so far to begin this one.
Something like that. Yeah, and that time, Hancock Hawks send the blitz from the linebacker position and was right in the hole that Zay was in.
And sometimes when you take that risk, you're going to hit one, but sometimes you can get hurt with it as well. Dennis gobbled up, though, on back-to-back plays. The defense is where it needs to be from the Hancock perspective. That was good pursuit. Corbin Whitfield in on that play. So point of attack, 2 wins in a row for Hancock. Have the Tide in a 3rd and 10 at the 28 of the Hawks. Try to run it out to the right side. Nothing doing. See if the Tide take to the air here. Fake inside, a give to Jordan Hathorne. Hathorne's close to the sticks, Rick. I mean, right at it. Let's see if he's got enough for the first down. They'll see. Move those chains. They'll give him down to the 16, which is a 12-yard run and enough to move the sticks. crafty play call there. Faked it through the middle and gave it to the wing going out to the right side. That was Jordan Hathorn. Jordan's had a really good senior year. Heck of a football player for the Tide.
Yep, nice pickup there. Old reverse time. That'll change the defense a little bit.
Here's a give to Moto. Jamari Hathorn had the fumble recovery a moment ago on special teams. Just hammer it straight ahead for a couple yards, will Jamari.
We've been seeing Jamari a little bit more in these red zone packages. I like that. He's got the bigger body, takes some of the collision hits off of Zay Dennis.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot not to like, really, when you look at him in a backfield. I mean, he's a specimen, a great athlete, really good defensive player for the Tide. From the 15 of Hancock, it's 2nd and 7. Here's the power to Hathorn. Ball loose. Ball got loose. Tide, I think, dove back on top of it, but a helmet from Hopgood on the football. They're slow to tell the Tide that they still have the football. What are they going to say here, Rick? Oh, Jordan Hathorn went down and fought for it and got it, Rick.
And boy, what a heady play by him. In between two Hancock Hawks, turns and dives on it.
Oh, there's a lot of want to in that from Jordan
play
Hathorn.
from Jordan.
Yeah, you got to see it on the delay here, and he was really wanting that football. Great senior play there to keep possession for the Tide, but it does put the Tide in a 3rd and 8. Looking to pass the football is Colt Robertson. He's leaked out a late throw into the end zone, incomplete. Closest to it was a Hawk defensive back. That was almost picked off in the end zone as Delklin almost had it. And so credit the Hawks. That's a resilient stop to force the field goal unit on for the Tide.
Yeah, it's definitely their best defensive possession. And I tell you, man, we don't throw it a lot, but when we throw it on a throwing down, that's typically the result, and that time was well covered.
31-yard attempt here from Edgar Cruz. The kick is up, and it is true. Good job, Eddie Cruz. Is Cruz able to knock it home? Didn't hit it with the driver there, Rick, but hit it with enough of that pitching wedge to get it through and have the Tide to a 17-7 advantage. Both teams kind of win there, right? Tide able to add, but that's a basic win for the Hawks to have a miscue on special teams and it not turn into 7. Kind of put a mark by that if it comes back to haunt the Tide for not checking in. But it is every kickoff. Coach King is out to nearly the hash marks before every kickoff, something that he does not like either on the previous drive or on special teams, Rick. He is really lobbying for something.
Yeah, it took 3 minutes off the clock, 3 minutes and 13 seconds on that last drive. Started on the 28, only got 15 total yards. Came up with 2 third downs, picked one up, and then couldn't pick the other one up, and had to settle for 3.
And used a good word, settle. That's not something you want to do in life. But that's what the Tide had to do there. But got points out of it. Let's see what Cruz does with this kick. You describe Cananan. He's down there roaming at about the 5, and there is the driver. Is Big Bertha still a thing, or is that just showing off my age? Whatever it was, he struck it down to about 5 yards deep in the end zone.
I had a Nike Sumo. I think that's even more obsolete.
Oh, man. Good job there by Mr. Cruz. And look, I say let him do it. I mean, he's got 32 of those bad boys on the year. Takes everybody out of the picture, regardless of the athlete back there. And good job by Cruz. Have an 80-yard field. This is the worst starting field position for the Hawks of their 3 drives. Going to start at their own 20. 2 wides for Cananan on each side. He'll call his own number, just fighting for tough yards. And look, that's the Wes Jones film. Go empty, put 2 up top, 2 at the bottom, wide receiver personnel-wise. Spread them out. Try to block your man in front of you and let 3 do his thing. Will to the tune of a 7-yard play, Rick. And when you get 7 a pop, it becomes the Picayune rushing offense because you can stay out on the field. You can slow the Tide down. You can make the game longer. This is what we saw, back-to-back runs. This is how they beat Wes Jones on the road a week ago. A 7-yard a pop, 7-yard a pop. Then you make an adjustment, and he hits that tight end or that slot guy. So you got to be careful here if you're the Tide, letting this young man get in rhythm.
Yep, really staying in that same base package with trips to the wide side, single wide receiver to the top here, and not taking – they're taking their time. They're not getting in a hurry here.
And here he is. He's looking to throw in a heady play. Just going to spike it out to the right. Great coverage by Jamari Hathorn. Really had his man locked up.
Yeah, wanted to go to Hopgood, I think, again on that play, on that wheel route out of the backfield, but it was covered well. He looks back to his check down receivers and the pressure. He had to just get rid of it.
Havernack was at check down, and Moto was all over him. 2nd and 10. Tailback off of each hip of Cananan on this play. He's looking over to the far sidelines. Got a guy over the middle. It's caught. Nice route run by Aspen Favre. Favre going to catch it and going to have a 12-yard pickup and move the sticks up to the 47.
Yeah, nothing too special there. We see that route a lot from them. Just kind of settles down and finds a soft spot in the defense, runs a crossing route. And Aspen Favre has been coming along as of late.
Yep, he's been hot at that wide receiver spot. Here's a rare give to the tailback. That's Hopgood. And he got what he wanted, and that's a 6-yard pickup on first. If this offense can live in 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4, they're going to be tough to stop tonight. And they've got it across midfield to the 47 of the Tide. Pretty good drive here for the Hawks. They already have a scoring drive on the game. Tied up 17-7. 5:20 to go in this opening quarter. That has been a wild one. Here's 3 again. Cananan going to call his own number, Rick, and he's averaging about 7 or 8 yards when he does that. Moves the sticks. Has a 1st and 10 now from the 41.
Yep, a little bit of a different look from the offense that time. Had 2 wide receivers to each side. And had Hopgood in the backfield. They're going to stay, I think, with that look.
They will put 2 up top, 2 to the bottom. Hopgood off the left hip of Cananan. Canan's going to stand over on the right hash in that shotgun. He's called for it. A low snap. Had to go down and get it. And look at this throw anyway. A nice throw. Good catch on the other end of it, Rick. But a bad snap's normally a disaster. We've seen back-to-back weeks him make a play regardless, as that was a good catch from Favre. We've talked about him warming up down the stretch.
And he's
but
wide
what presence
open.
of mind.
Yeah, he's wide open. He's with his hands up calling for the ball there. There's no one around him.
Yeah, I really think he's almost a deke on that play, the way he's doing that, Rick.
Yeah.
But we left him so wide open, you turn a decoy into a live option there.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we talked about some in the preview episode. That added element of Canan's game is he's not scared to stand in and know he's going to take a hit. That time he stands in, keeps his feet, delivers a strike. That's probably last year, either an incomplete pass or he gets sacked there.
17-7, 4:23 left. There's a timeout credited to the Hawks. There's so much to talk about, Rick. We'll stop and we'll get a chance to kind of break it down here. We appreciate the help tonight with Donnie Pascal, Diamond Productions, Pearl River Community College as well. Rick, when you look at it, man, what all have we seen here? 17-7 with 4:23 to go just in this opening quarter.
We've seen a lot, man. We've seen 2 turnovers from the Maroon Tide. We had an interception to start the game on the first play. We've seen Zay Dennis with just only 4 carries. He's still sitting at 101 yards, but did that damage with 2 carries. Had 1 for 80, 1 for 21. And the Maroon Tide, I think you capitalize there. We can get 7 instead of 3. It's a 21-7 ball game, but Tide been dominant at times. But, boy, his Hancock offense hanging around on a 17-7 ball game is still a great ball game.
Yeah, you've had 2 turnovers, right, Rick? You've got the pick and a mishandled kick. And to be honest with you, you'd like that to almost turn into more than just a 10-point advantage. I know that sounds awfully greedy.
Hard to believe that it's only a 10-point advantage, but that's Cananan. He's not going to back up from that and certainly playing very well still.
Yes, he is. 2 wide receivers to the bottom of the set. Oh, there's 3 down there. Slot guy tucked in tight. And then 1 long wide receiver up top. Here's Hopgood. He looked to throw for a moment, but it was covered up well. 2 guys in coverage from the Tide. Good film study. That was Richardson and Hathorn that took the halfback pass away from Hobgood. Rick, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Colton Hobgood wanted to throw that football on the pitch.
No, he did, and credit Coach Aid and the defensive staff. They had a whole set in the old huddle machine called trick plays, and that was one of them, and Maroon Tide not fooled.
Yep, and then on the pursuit, that was Brody Kirkland and Nolan Wilson making a nice stop after Hobgood had to tuck it on the run. 3rd and 3, ball at the 33. Here's Cananan trying to leak off to the left side. He's made a cut. He's got the first down. He's still alive. I believe that's going to be a face mask on the far side. But regardless, he's up to the 20-yard line, Rick. A 13-yard run for Cananan. And he's running into space, Rick. He's using Hobgood here as a lead blocker out to the left side. And he doesn't get contact to deep into this run. Yes, he's not hit to about the 9-yard mark into that run. Going to have to make it a bit tougher for Cananan than that.
Took a bad angle, scraping out to that outside there, and he made us pay for it.
Looking to the bottom of the screen, one lone wide receiver there. They're going to get Fortenberry for pass interference. Adarius just didn't get his head flipped, Rick. He was in a pretty good spot against Thompson as they put man-to-man, one-on-one coverage up top, but Fortenberry just never got that head kind of swiveled back, and on the high school level, that's going to draw a flag about 90% of the time, and it did here.
No, you're right, man. And really, I think that's on any level. You're going to have – they'll let you do some hand jabs back and forth, but if you don't turn around, it's going to be called.
And that will bring it to the 10-yard line, be 1st and goal from the 10. 2 wides to each side. Hobgood off the left hip of Cananan. Tied on top, 17-7, 3:17 left to go in this opening quarter. This is big, depending on what it is. They're going to get the center, I think, here, Rick, for movement. And why that's big is because defensively, if it's got to be 1st and goal, you definitely want it from the 10. You're getting a full advantage of it being 1st and goal defensively. And so then when you can go 5 yards back to have it 1st and goal from the 15. Tide need to try to take advantage and limit this.
Something happened there. Coach King had his hand out. He was telling Cananan to wait, and I think it threw off the cadence with the center.
He's got these dual tailbacks off of each hip. He'll fake it to Hobgood. Now he's dumped it out to a back, leaving out of the backfield. And Cam Quinn made a risky play. Turned out to be a good play, Rick. It was not really a tackle. It was more of a shove from Cam Quinn's perspective, but it was enough of a shove to guide the receiver out of bounds.
And that's where he gets so dangerous. He gives you just enough of a look that he's going to run with it, tucks it just for a second, and then pulls up, delivers that shot. That's hard to stay disciplined and stay where you're supposed to be. You want to come up because he's such a threat with his legs.
That was Collier, the sophomore, who caught it and was shoved out of bounds. Only a 1-yard gain on the play. So 2nd and goal from the 14. Oh, he's leaked out to the left. Now he's dashed back to the right and found a receiver. What a play that was. Gonna find Hobgood. After Rick, he really set up 2 different pockets, one to the left, one back to the right before he let it go. And Hobgood catches it to the 6. No, they're actually going to spot that back, Rick, more towards the 8 here. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 8.
Yeah, Hobgood did a really good job of, and when you play with a quarterback that can scramble like that, just get to your spot and stay there. And he knows you're going to be there. And we did a good job of corralling him in. We just couldn't bring him down. And
here he's rolled to the right, trying to run it. And Brody Kirkland, another good stop, is going to tackle him at the 6. Just a gain of 2. Good job, Brody Kirkland, having one of his better quarters of football. We talked about urgency. He's one of those seniors that's going to sense it. He's played good football. Just a gain of 2, so it'll be 4th and 6, Rick. Excuse me, 4th and goal from the 6.
Brody Kirkland made a touchdown-saving tackle. He doesn't wrap him up there. I think he stretches out that long body and gets in.
Let's see what the Hawks have up their sleeve and what can the Tide do defensively. 4th and 6. Canan's rolled out to the right and a fake of a trick play, and it was Cananan that still had it up to the 3. They brought a man underneath in motion. They faked the flip to Hedgewood going right to left as a bit of trickery. But, boy, the Tide saw 2 trick plays on that drive, and were up to the task and get the Hawks off of the field. Remember how big, Rick, on first down to move and turn it into a 1st and goal from 15 yards out. Hawks couldn't overcome it and going to be forced off the field at the 3-yard line. That was a good tackle by Zay Richardson. We picked on Richardson a week ago, didn't make a tackle on the touchdown there, maybe saves a touchdown with a good job.
Yep, and hard to believe, man, we're still only in the first quarter.
Yes, it is. Going to be snapped from the 3. Look at Zay go. He's out of there. 40. Look at Zay go. There's not a Hawk in sight. A 97-yarder here from Mr. Dennis. Oh, my. What a run there by Zay Dennis. A 97-yard score for 2K Zay. May turn into 3K Zay. He keeps this up.
Boy, extra burst of speed there, man. He looks faster than he's been all year.
What a time to be doing that, as we've gotten out to a 23-7 advantage as just a sprint, too. You talked about helmets and the wrong gaps, and if they're not there, it becomes a track meet for Dennis. He has been a track star so far tonight, has Mr. Dennis.
Yes, he has, man. I'll give you a guess of his numbers.
Oh, my. He's got to be at the 200-yard mark already, Rick?
5 rushes, 198, and 3 touchdowns. And, Clay, every touchdown has been on the first play.
Wow.
He's got 1 for 21. He's got 1 for 81, and now 1 for 97.
Wow. As we are awaiting the point after. There's still 125 left in this crazy opening quarter. Good snap back from McKinley. Nice hold by Rayburn and Cruz. It's knocked it in. 24-7, Ricky Whitaker tied on top, but you can't rest. I mean, you just stopped the Hawks down 4th and goal at the 3, but Zay goes 97 yards.
Hey, Clay, look, this is what's crazy, because I'm looking here. I want our listeners to know I'm not doing this math by hand. This is a computer program that's perfect. Zay, it took him 13 seconds to go 80 yards. How long do you think it took him to go 97 yards?
What we have there?
16 seconds.
Dude, look, he
that's
flat out. I mean, look, you talked about it, like if they guess helmet-wise and they guess wrong, and when I say that, you can get more technical when they're bringing in additional guys in different gaps. But when they've guessed wrong tonight, Zay has made them pay to, what'd you say, to the tune of nearly 200 yards on 5 carries?
Yeah, so it took him an extra 3 seconds. He covered 16 yards. So 81 was 13, this one's 16. That's incredible, man. I'm checking the math here. I know I put the clock up right with where we started at. My goodness.
What a night for Mr. Dennis. What a night for the Tide so far. Flipped that defensive effort to get a stop into a one-play touchdown drive for our Exotic Stones touchdown drive. Here's Cananan going to return it from the 3. You get this kind of athlete in space, but good tackle, surrounded him and brought him down. Brody Kirkland came to play tonight, Rick. We called his number and name a bunch already. Excuse me, I tried to give Kirkland credit. That was Kendall Malley. Malley with a really good special teams play. He's dressed in 39. Kirkland wears 38.
Yeah, and you had Moto in there on that tackle with him.
Yeah, Moto made a nice play on special teams, able to cover a mishandled kick. Tied with 24 here in the opening quarter. Canan's looking to take a shot down the middle of the field. That's a blatant hold. Spins out of it, though. No flag. And then eventually the Tide get to him, but Zay Jackson was almost undressed at about the 15. Not sure how that didn't draw a flag, and that's Macon Burnett helping on the pressure there, Rick. We're getting to see him at the fullback, and back in at that defensive line spot is Mr. Burnett. That's pretty good, like when you can begin to get some bodies in there, some fresh faces with Burnett back. You've got him, Igana on that defensive line, joined by Zay Jackson, who we just talked about, booked in out there by Monson. That's the defensive line for the Tide. 2nd and 10 after that incompletion. 1 minute left here in this Wild opening quarter, and just as we talked about the Bull, there he was loose in a china shop. Look at that. Gets him back to the 15-yard line. A sack for Mr. Burnett. Ankle looks pretty good to me, Rick.
Looks good, and he just annihilates the man that's covering him. Looked like he was lined up with no one there. They just didn't get a hand on him. And he is waiting. Puts a swim move on the guard.
Look, he's on the swim team. Shez will be trying to take credit for that. Jeremy Chesby, the swim coach. He'll love that. He'll take full credit for a swim move there by Macon Burnett. Brings it to a 3rd and 13. Have to be careful. He can make this type of play, but he's under duress and he's down. Nolan Wilson, the 4-star.
And the Bull back there again.
Macon.
Back-to-back play. He's going to split that one, Clay.
He'll have no choice because Macon will speak up in the film room for half of that one. Great job for the Tide.
Here's the thing, Clay. 24-7, you come in with a game plan. You want to try to eat clock. You know it's going to be hard to stop Picayune. But you're down 24-7. You got to change your game plan. And now we're seeing Cananan drop back, not content with those 4, 5, 6-yard runs. They got to get points now, and Maroon Tide are going to thrive if they can keep this distance between them and the Hawks.
Yeah, great opening quarter. We'll get our Exotic Stone first quarter report from Greg Ducker.
Yeah, Clay, Zay Dennis is putting on an exhibition tonight, is he not? I tell you what, those 2 quick touchdowns, just amazing. Defense doing a great job there. It's good to see Macon Burnett back on defense and not limited to offense only. I think you're right. He's going to argue a little bit with Nolan about getting credit for that in the film room for sure. One thing to watch throughout the night, guys, is it's starting to cool off a little bit finally, but early in the game, y'all know there was some humidity, and the guys, they're really trying to keep them hydrated on the side, keep them from cramping up. So, but a great start for the Maroon Tide so far.
Great job as usual there by Greg Ducker and our Pearl River Community College report there between the first and second quarter down on the sideline. And that's an interesting point, Rick, because we've talked about it. This has been a track meet from both sides. That's going to be a lot to physically keep up with, as there was about 40, 45 minutes on real time that both of these sets of guys have sprinted around a lot. Hancock and Knight going to be forced to punt it out of his own end zone. Has hit a line drive. It's caught by Hathorn at midfield. Made a couple guys miss, putting a foot in the ground, and he's up to the 36-yard line. A brave choice by Jordan Hathorn, going to benefit the Tide as he chose to catch it, Rick. And it was going to have a big bounce to one of those line drives. But Jordan, a senior, made a good choice and gets about a 16-yard return. And look at this complimentary football. Going to have the Tide with a short field in front of them offensively.
Yep, only got to go 36 yards now for the touchdown. Really good punt return there. And we'll see if Hancock does anything differently on defense.
They probably taking suggestions, Rick. I mean, it's tough against this Tide defense with the way this guy can throw it too, and he's got a wide open receiver. Look at this. Colt Robertson with Jordan Hathorn with nowhere around him, able to find him. Hathorn going to fall, slip down. In the process of catching it, kind of lost his balance, and he'll slip down at the 1-yard line. But, Rick, have you seen a guy that open? Look at this, as he was wide open and just going to stumble down. He's going to be mad at himself there. That should have went in a receiving touchdown column. Colt's going to want that one as well, as they're going to spot it within the 1-yard line at about the half-yard line. And Dennis going to look to add to his total, or do we throw the Bull a bone here? It'll be the latter, as the Bull will get his bone, and the senior going to go in for a 1-yard touchdown run. Boy, I love that call. Zay, I love him, but the Bull deserved that one. Put it in his belly, let him scamper in from a half-yard out. Get the Tide out to 30-7 with 11:17 to go before our half. What a display here offensively for the Tide as we await the Diamond production point after it splits the uprights. And Rick, Another short drive summary here on our Diamond Production drive summary.
Yep, the streak has been broken. I thought we were going to have 4 consecutive offensive series where we scored on one play. Hathorn couldn't keep his balance there, but he started everything off with a 35-yard pitch and catch. And we talked about it, Clay, when you throw on early downs, ask what you're going to see with a loaded box. Picayune makes a good call there, and then the Bull goes in for his first touchdown in quite some time. And nobody prouder or happier for that young man than me and you right now sitting in this booth.
Absolutely. Quick score update from my buddy Sam Landrum and the Picayune Physical Therapy. He did a tremendous job help developing that app, and then we even got his daddy to help pay for it. So that was good, man. He came through on both folds for that, had the expertise to help us get what me and Jeff went to him to build a website, and he was smart enough to develop an app instead. Long story short, Hattiesburg on top of Pascagoula, 7-0.
Yeah, second quarter too, right?
That's right. You already knew that score. You holding back on me.
Well, I just looked. Jeff Lossett sent us a message too.
Look at that. Friends all over the place tonight helping us out. Mr. Lossett, co-founder of the Talking Ball Y'all Media Group. Cananan gonna mishandle it a bit at the 3. Now he picks it up back at the 1. Was surrounded, but it doesn't matter. Look at this guy. Near sideline now after absolutely surrounded and going to make it out the midfield. Unbelievable run there by Cananan. Rick, am I lying? I mean, he was surrounded at the 3 and lost 2 or 3 tidesmen and then able to make it all the way up to the 47. Look at this return. Incredible
return, Clay, but the catch, what he did back there, he juggled it because he's trying to make sure his feet are inside, not in the end zone itself. So he juggles it, still keeps his feet inside, picks it up, and then, of course, does what he does. He does Cananan things with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and if you want to put tape out for QB1 on the next level, there's plenty of that. But if you want to go play slot wide receiver, that one will get spread around, and you'd be crazy not to pick him up and give him a chance, as that's going to be an incomplete pass. Hit Thompson in the hands, just didn't squeeze it. Had a little bit of that screen kind of set up there too, Rick. That was going to be well designed. If Thompson squeezes it, that could have been trouble, but it will be incomplete. And 2nd and 10, they had spotted Cananan down at the 47-yard line of Hancock. 11:02 to go before our break. Tied on top, 31-7. Going to put 4 wide receivers to the top. Empty backfield, 1 to the bottom of this set. Canan's called for it. He's gotten it. He's looking to go down the middle. He's got a guy. It's going to fall incomplete. Just missed him.
Boy, that was that play.
Yes, it was. And he was open and just out of sync a bit. As Harvinick not able to grab it. Probably a throw that Canan's going to want to have back. Doesn't miss a whole lot, but that wasn't one of his better throws. He's got plenty of those on the year, but him and Harvinick had a chance to make a big play.
Yeah, a little bit of a different look. Harvinick usually at the tight end spot when he does that, but he's in the slot, fakes to the outside, and runs a slant up the middle.
3rd and 10, made up for the bad throw with a dime here, but it's dropped. Put it right on Thompson, just unable to squeeze it at about the 22-yard line. And, Rick, I'm not sure if he catches it that we catch him, we being the Tide defense.
Now, he had a couple of steps on Moto.
He did, which is saying a mouthful, and put it right on him and just didn't squeeze it. 31-7, Tide on top, 10:50 to go. Hancock with a bit of a choice here. 4th and 10, ball at their own 47. Didn't think on it long, did Coach Mikey King, going to go for it. And that's the right choice. And this type of back and forth when you're down 31-7, almost have to. There's a flag that's going to come out. And that's, again, Rick, on these big downs that they've gotten Hancock for moving. I don't see it. There's something else going on that's just not super evident to you and I. But that's 2 penalties that they've gotten Hancock for movement that have cost the Hawks. It's actually going to change Coach King's choice to go for it into a punt. What do you see there, Rick? It's just nothing to the naked eye that I can see.
Now, I was watching the ball, that last play and the replay, just to see if the ball flinched a little bit, but I didn't see any movement there unless somebody was maybe lined up off sides.
Knight with an end-over-end punt. It's going to hit at the 22, and Hathorn once again is going to squeeze it at the 15. Not going to be a huge return, Well, what's big about that, Rick, is he doesn't let it bound down to about the 5. I mean, he grabs it, able to cut that roll, that big roll that's about to take place in half, and advance it up to the 23. That's where the Tide will go to work. They've worked quickly tonight, Rick. These drive summaries that you have given have been one play, two
quick
play.
work, and a really good open field tackle for the Hawks. That was Wyatt Coleman, who was able to corral Hawthorne one-on-one. That's a pretty big feat in itself.
Yeah, that's Jordan Hathorne's played a good football game. Couple good returns, a good run, a nice catch. They got the Tide down to the 1 that resulted in making Burnett score. Here's a physical play from Dennis, about a 5-yard pickup and a nice tackle on the end of it by Caden Dito. They'll give him 4. Call it 2nd and 6 up to the 26 of the Tide. Been a long opening half, Rick. Still 10 minutes away from the break. Tide on top, 31-7. 2 wide receivers to the bottom of this set. That's Dennis again. He's got it in his belly. He's trying to break it out to the left side and has. He's got enough for the first down. I don't know what he saw over to the left. I was almost second guessing him, but his speed and his vision brought him out there. He gets it to the 36. 13-yard pickup and moves the sticks, does Zay Dennis. Zay having a real healthy night again tonight. Had that kind of night against the Hawks about a month ago.
Zay Dennis, 7 rushes now, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Man, oh man, Mr. Dennis. What a junior year he's had, Rick. Here's a fake to Dennis and a toss to the wing back. It wasn't a give like the normal, just kind of put it in his belly give to Hathorne. This was a little flip back there, a little different of a look. And the Hancock defense was up to the task. No gain on the play. Going to bring up 2nd and 10 after good pursuit for this Hawks defense. That was Corbin Whitfield, tackler for the Hawks. 1 lone wide receiver in the set for the Tide. That was Fortenberry. Here's a toss out to Jamari Hathorne. What a form tackle that is.
That's Hobgood.
Yeah, looked like Big Brother there as Colton Hobgood made like Jeffrey Hobgood from years past, and a form tackle on Jamari Hathorne. The one complaint you'd have on Jamari is that high running style. He's a big target. He's a big strike zone. And teed off on him there did Colton Hobgood.
Yeah, going to be a loss of 1 and giving up a lot of size, but you said it, man, a form tackle.
Here's a fake run and a toss out to Macon Burnett, and he's going to drop it. Fullback was open at the 40 and just didn't catch it, Rick. That's a little different wrinkle here for the Tide. I love the play design to throw it to your fullback. You've done a lot of these with me. You're familiar with the way this offense looks in practice. You just don't see that very often as a pass to the fullback in this offense and just didn't squeeze it. I like the idea, though, is it'll force the Tide into their first punt. And Nolan Wilson has hit a beauty over the head of Hobgood back to the 15. That's not fair to be what he is defensively and then smash a punt like that down to the 17, the 4-star Alabama commit, Rick. He holds it. He holds it longer than a play-by-play guy would like, as he'll make you nervous that it's going to be blocked. But if he gets it off his foot, it is going to be smoked. And it was down to the 17. Nolan, a former soccer player, he put his boot in that one. That was a nice kick.
Yeah, you see how big his hands are, man, when you get field level with him, too. Just massive mitts.
Yeah, he can really be special, can Mr. Nolan Wilson. Cananan looking to throw. He'll have to take a check down and just short arms it out to his intended wide receiver, and Hobgood. Going to be incomplete.
Harvinek slips out from the tight end spot, down the seam. Looked open for a minute, but we were able to get there and close it up pretty quickly.
Going to bring up 2nd and 10. 8:14 to go before our locker rooms. Tide have done a good job with pressure too, Rick. Not the pressure that's allowing him to really escape. He's gotten his yardage rushing, but those have been the design runs. Have done a good job with the pressure, not allowing it to turn into a scramble. And then good job right here. I mean, this kid has played himself a great half. That was Brody Kirkland again. A pick already in this one. And Rick, he's starting to look like a vintage, old-school Tide linebacker. Like, if the tackle's there, he's really making it over the last few weeks. Good job here by Brody Kirkland.
I love it, man. That's a young man who's taking advantage of this time.
Yeah. We talked about want to and urgency on the podcast. Yes, we are. 3rd and 8. Cananan in double coverage and incomplete. Tide were where they needed to be. That was Richardson and Fortenberry.
Richardson throws
still
up the double
almost
Hawks.
called it, but
yeah,
as incomplete to Aspen Favre. Favre almost was able to catch that. Cananan had a little small window to fit it through, and
Hawk
somehow
fans,
got it to him, but just didn't catch it.
Hawk fans wanted pass interference. That was clean. Contact was made when the ball hit Aspen Favre's hands. It wasn't early.
31-7, and for the first time in all of this, Rick, even with this large spread, you feel like the Tide may be settling in a little bit of a comfort zone here and a danger zone from the Hawks' perspective. Knights hit a beautiful punt. He matched Nolan Wilson's punt with this one. Look at this job by Knight. He's going to get it all the way to the 11. What an effort there with just a perfect punt.
And Clay, with all that Canan's done tonight, we saw some of this even last week on film with Wes Jones driving the length of the field but not getting points. Only scored on that second possession. Had an interception on the first one, fumbled kickoff on their third one. Hawthorne recovered that one. Tide hold on 4th and goal and then a couple of punts.
Tied 7-7 as Jeff Blossett and Sam Landrum now keeping me up to date. And say no Tristan Keys tonight once again for Hattiesburg. 31-7 here. 7:18 before our break. Tide gonna start this drive at its 11-yard line. Does Zay Dennis have an 89-yarder in him? We'll find out. Oh, a whistle beforehand. Let's see what the call is, Rick. It's going to be against the Tide. Tide going to move it back 5.
That's going to be their first offensive penalty of the night. That's a good sign. We had something squirrely down here on the PAT try several series back, but this is the first one on offense.
Yep, and didn't have many a week ago. You know, had really kind of cleaned up and been pretty sharp in that department. So move it back to the 6. Got a 7-yarder already for Mr. Dennis?
Yep.
See what he can do here from the 6. It'll be a give to Dennis, dancing around. He's still alive. He makes a cut, 10, 15. Can he get all the way loose? Oh, he's all the way loose. Look at this. Holy cow. 96 yards later, he'll score. Bad news is there's a flag back at the 12-yard line. But, Rick, he was going to go 97 on the night and then 96. But there's a flag back. Oh, mercy. I think they're going to wipe it clean. They going to need oxygen over on the far side.
Wow. And, again, we need to check the records books because that would have been the 4th play where he's ran one time and scored. It would have been incredible. He's had a few long ones called back this year like that.
Yes, he has. And he's only got about 2,500 yards on the year. And so when you start thinking on the math of stuff that's been called back, at Gaucher he had, I think, a 35 and then a 45-yarder wiped out on back-to-back plays.
Boy, not a lot of yards separating him and number 1 in the state. Would all count Zay out yet.
No, I would not, because hopefully he'll keep stacking games on top of one another to be able to play. If you're taking it in on the booth cam, we've got the YouTube channel, hopefully in the comments that you can find. With the spot of the foul, Rick, they're actually going to put it right back on the 6 is where this one will snap back from. It's 1st and 15 from there. Oh, a mishandle of the power. That was Moto who had to come in. I talked about Zay needing a breath. He certainly did. Then Moto, for the second time tonight, has put the ball on the ground. That's a good way to go stand by the staff.
And that's going to shorten Zay Dennis's break because he's going to check himself right back in.
And I love Moto, and I love what he's capable of. But this time of year, that's a shortcut to go stand offensively by the coaching staff because you got to be able to trust can't have the turnovers take place. And now he's going to back it up to the 5-yard line. And here's Dennis, Rick. He's to the 10. Going to have about a 5-yard pick off the left side. But, boy, you really just love what Moto can bring to the table. And you love the break for Zay. I mean, that's simply what the Tide staff was needing to do there when you got a 96-yard sprint taken off the board.
He's seeing all those long runs, and I think he's just looking up. He's ready to get to the end zone himself and not corralling that ball, and just had his head up a little too early. Didn't see it into his body.
Yeah, like the track and field on a relay when you just don't grab it clean. Ball now at the 10 of the Tide. Tide looking to swing it out to Hathorn and didn't catch it. Incomplete at the 10-yard line. There's a little swing pass from Colt Robertson to Jordan Hathorn, and just a touch out in front. Hathorn didn't run through it and grab it, and it's going to be incomplete. So both defenses, I hate to even use the term settled in when it's 31-7, but now you're starting to see the punt units at least, as you'll have Nolan Wilson. I guess this is back-to-back punts for the Tide offensively. He'll call for it a yard deep, and he gets off a line drive variety. Hits at the 44 of the Tide. Going to be fair caught on the hop at the 45-yard line of the Hawks. That was Hobgood. Was going to catch it on the hop.
They had a lot of fireworks here to start this game, and the last 2 possessions for the Hawks and the Tide now have been punts. Yeah, that's a defensive adjustments, and maybe both offenses a bit worn out.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that was a little self-inflicted on us there to have one erased. You hate to see those long ones get erased like that.
A 96-yarder taken off the board. 55-yard field in front of Cananan. And this offense is it's going to be a give to Hobgood. Hobgood going to go get a tough couple yards. Tide have tackled pretty well tonight, Rick, here through the first quarter and half of this second quarter. Doing a good job there, finding Hobgood and dropping him down after only a 2-yard gain. Cananan now looking to throw. He's got a guy, and that's Colt. That's Collier up at about the 47 of the Tide. Gets it across midfield. Bring up 3rd and short.
And that's that man again, Brody Kirkland on the tackle, right where he needs to be. And, boy, you look at how impressive what Zay Dennis has done in the first half. Maroon Tide, 230 yards on offense on the ground tonight, but we were at 345 in the first matchup at the half.
Yeah, and that's what we're closing in on is 4.5 minutes out from our half. 2 wide receivers to each side of this set. Now they'll bring Collier in motion from left to right, and look at this young man put on a show. Brody Kirkland, once again, a tackle for a loss, Rick. He's got a couple of those. Has got a nice couple form tackles.
And that should have been
got
a flag.
A pick.
Clay, I thought he left early.
This is going to be a timeout on the field. We'll take it with it, as we'll take a timeout as the Tide on top, 31-7, 4:09 to go before our break.
I just maybe a miscommunication there between the Hawks, and the timing wasn't right on the movement from the wide receiver.
Yeah, so we'll come back with a 4th down after this 1-minute break. Tide on top, 31-7 over Hancock.
At Planet Home Lending, you are more than just another transaction. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a veteran using VA benefits, or buying a secondary home, they have a home loan program that fits your needs. Planet Home Lending proudly serves Picayune and Pearl River County with FHA home loans, VA loans, USDA housing loans, and more. Give Melissa Rubel a call at 601-276-5058 or stop by their office located at 219C Telly Road in Picayune. Planet Home Lending will get you home.
4th and 7 here as Hancock has it at its 46-yard line. 3 wides to the top, 1 to the bottom. Pressure, that's Igana, and he gets help to finish it all, but Colin Igana was there first, got help from his teammate and Mario Monson, but defensive line, Rick, has played really, really well the last quarter or so. Kind of got off to a rocky start with 2 long drives from the Hawks, but since then have adjusted and played good football.
They have, Clay, and it's going to be another turnover on downs from this defense from the Maroon Tide, and I think that's 3 sacks already on Cananan here in the first half. That's a heck of a start.
Yep, that was Igana. Got back there, held on.
Held on for dear life till the
did.
Reinforcements came, and they came.
What did Cody say? Help her brother out?
Yep, they did that.
They did indeed. So Ty going to have it from the 35 of the Hawks. Here's that extended handoff. Goes to Dennis, kind of creates some space. Stretches it out a little bit, does Colt Robertson by a step and a half before he gives it to the tailback. What do we call that, Rick? What would be the terminology for that give?
That's an odd one. That's like a pitch out. I'm trying to look myself here at the replay.
I mean, he kind of gets beyond the guard's left
just
hip before he gives it to him.
That's just the old trap there, and gets a good hard 5 yards.
And here he's looking for more is Dennis. Dennis up to the 26-yard line. Going to set up a 3rd and 2. Tide have had to punt the last 2 times they have had it. Punt won't be an option with this possession just because of where you started. But the Hawks do have the time and a 3rd down. It is 3rd and short. 3rd and about 1.5 yards from the 26. Tide on top, 31-7. 3 minutes to go before the locker room. Give it to Burnett. Burnett trying to work ahead off the left side. They'll say move the sticks before they even set it down, which is really crazy to me that they do that. But they'll now put it down after they've moved the sticks. Like, how do you know, Rick, that it's a 1st down before you lay that football down? That's just, boy. But either way, we'll benefit from it. 1st and 10, ball now at the 24 of the Hawks. I don't know just how you eyeball that thing and tell them to move those old chains before you put it down. Here's that same handoff, but to the right side, and it'll be a 24-yard touchdown run by Dennis. Dennis made that look easy. Whatever play I was trying to get you to describe, Rick, to the left, they ran it to the right, they being our Maroon Tide, and it was a easy sprint for Zay Dennis as he continues to pile up just gaudy numbers now with 29 touchdowns on the year. I believe that's his 4th here this evening.
Yeah, he's got the tailback in the front, making Burnett's in the back, and Macon just rolls out, puts his hands up to draw attention, and it's just a straight trap or dive give to Zay Dennis there. But yeah, he's in the fullback position on that play.
High snap. Rayburn climbs the ladder, gets it, puts it back down. Cruz knocks it home. 38-7. Rick, let's get your Diamond Productions drive summary.
Yeah, Maroon Tide take the ball. They got to go 35 yards. There's 4:08 on the clock. Maroon Tide use about half of it. They take a minute and 36 seconds to run 4 plays, and it is capped off by a nice 24-yard scamper by Mr. Zay Dennis, and numbers for him on the night. My goodness, 11 rushes, 249 yards, 4 touchdowns, and it's still in the first half.
Tide on top here, 38-7, as Rick just said. The brackets that we talked about, the potential matchup that the Tide would get. Hattiesburg leading 14-7, 2 minutes before their half. So game schedule kind of timing-wise on track, but the Tide have a 38-point first quarter. Rick, what we have in the first matchup? 42 at the half?
Yeah. 42-21 at the half last time.
Here's another popped-up type kick from the foot of Cruz, handled at the 25 and flipped over. That's my freshman. That's Mr. Foxworth making his presence felt on special teams. He's dressed in 3, Rick, and what a job there. Flipped the Hawk returner over at the the 36-yard line. Beautiful play there by the freshman, Zayden Foxworth.
Yeah, a lot of offensive possessions in this first half. Maroon Tide's had it 8 times, and Hancock starting their 8th drive.
Boy, oh boy, lots going on here in this opening half. I'll sit back and let you do about a 4-minute summary here in a minute before we even start our half with Darren Uzel trying to describe all of this action. Look at the strength of Cananan carrying a couple Tidesmen up near midfield. That's just a strong, strong run. About a 14-yard pickup. It's going to move the sticks. Don't want to give up a touchdown before the half. If you'll remember back about a month ago, Cananan hit a long run before the half. Literally, as it closed out, you could hear the horn, as Ricky Whitaker described it in his play-by-play with that touchdown. I had stepped away for a moment to see my little girl dance, and she was at an event across town and got to hear you do some play-by-play that night. Did a good job describing that touchdown. Here's a completion. No gain, though, Rick. That's kind of been the story, is the tackle after the catch. Todd have done a pretty good job of that here in this first half.
And, boy, Hopgood, just a sophomore, Clay, he's going to be a good one.
3 wide receivers to the bottom, 1 up top. Hopgood was a tailback off the left hip. One-on-one coverage, kind of a back shoulder type throw, incomplete. That was good. That was better by Fortenberry. I don't know if the back shoulder throw made him turn his head, Rick, but he was in a good spot there and did turn his head enough not to get flagged for the pass interference.
It's not a bad play call by them either. That trips look, you've got that lone wide receiver, so Fortenberry going to be on an island, and then you got Hopgood coming out to that strong side. Everybody's looking that way. Fortenberry gonna have to make that play. Did a good job there.
Yep, just gonna have to trust your athlete, and Fortenberry a good one to put trust in. 3rd and 10, low snap. Gonna take a shot down the seam, and there it is, complete, and there's your touchdown before the half. Steered down, pressure, and delivered a dime. A 51-yard strike. It's the pass that you described in a pregame. It's Favre on the receiving end, and Cananan knew he was going to get hit but didn't let it bother him. Delivered a beautiful pass as Favre is able to catch it at about the 20-yard line and run it in the rest of the way. But the Hawks, just like they did in the first matchup, refused to go away. Movement before, Rick. On the PAT, they're going to say the Tide actually were all sides here. Helmet in the neutral zone, so going to be an all side. So 38-13 at the moment after a 51-yard pass from Cananan to Favre. That gets Cananan to his 20th passing touchdown on the year. Still waiting the point after. They'll decline the penalty to keep everything on schedule for their kicker. Trahan with the kick, and it's good. So now 38-14. Tell us what you know about that last drive there, Ricky Whitaker.
It's really just Cananan continuing to play, continuing to stay positive. Things not looking good. You're down 38-7, but he does what he did last time he was in this stadium and gets 7 points for his team before the half. And I tell you, man, 38-14, if they can hold Picayune with this last minute and 18 seconds, is going to feel a whole lot better in the locker room than being down 38-7.
Yeah, that's a good point made by you, Rick. And then on the other side of it, Tide's average drive can't be longer than about 30 seconds tonight when you pile them all up and then start dividing by.
Yeah.
And so really, as quick as the Tide have been able to score, you hate to say this, but you'd love to put one on before the half and get to that mark you would in the first matchup.
We talked a little bit about the humidity in the air and the heat. I think it's resolved itself a little bit now, but those quick scoring drives, the defense has been on the field a lot tonight for the Tide.
Yeah, this has been a game, even in the first half, really, when you look at it from some of the snap count perspective. Here's Fortenberry, who's got a long return already this year for a touchdown. This time, he's going to scoop it up at about the 10, get it to the 23. That's where the Tide will start. So Tide going to have a minute 12 to work with.
Maroon going to start their 9th drive of this first half.
It's incredible. Going to put the ball at the 23-yard line over on the right hash with this crew. See what the Tide choose to do with it, Rick. You've got a minute and a half. You've got a little bit of a cushion here. Do you choose to work on maybe this type of offense that you may need down the road?
Yeah,
and moving it quickly.
Colt's been good on the night. I mean, he's only 1 of 4, but it's been a lot of drops.
See what the Tide choose to do. It'll be that lead type give. They found something they like in it, but the Hawks right where they needed to be. So it was Dennis with just a gain of 1. Moves it up to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, Maroon Tide going to get the ball to start the second half. Might be content with just letting this clock run down and taking it to the locker room here, but be nice to see them take a shot here.
Yep, you got Junior James going up top. Junior, a really good athlete. Up at the wide receiver spot, top of the stream. It's a toss to Zay Dennis trying to work himself loose on the left side and has. Look at this sprint from Zay Dennis. Scanning for flags. I see none. It's a foot race. 10-5 touchdown goes Zay Dennis. A big, big run once again for Dennis. 76 yards and just an incredible half by this offensive line and Zay Dennis. And credit the wide receiver, too. Junior James smoked his guy at about the 35. Just spring the long run from Dennis. Boy, I can't wait to hear Zay Dennis's numbers after this drive summary in PAT. McKinley will snap it. Rayburn will hold. Cruz will kick. Everything done to perfection, and it gets it to a 45-14 score. We'll go to Ricky Whitaker for our Diamond Productions drive summary.
Man, 2 plays. Zay Dennis goes in for a 76-yard touchdown, his 5th on the night. He is racking them up. Maroon Tide took the ball with minute 12 seconds. Had to go a long way, and they get there, man. And boy, Zay Dennis putting on a clinic now with 13 rushes, 326 yards, and his 5th touchdown of the night.
That's crazy. I mean, if my memory's right, that's exactly what he ended the first game with rushing-wise. He had a long touchdown catch in that ball game.
We were about at 342.
And he was at 326, I think, on the dot. And so, Rick, when you look at it, I think Coach Steig and the crew were content, and Zay Dennis was malcontent. He said, nope, you give me it, and I will go trying to score. And the way he broke that thing back out and really gave the wide receiver on that side, that's one of the better wide receiver blocks I've seen all season long. Oh, Junior James able to make something happen.
Yep, had to go 77 yards there, and Zay Dennis got 76 of it himself.
On 2 rushing plays, a hurry-up offense for the Tide comes through with a score. Hobgood going to let this one sail over his head and go into the end zone as Cruz piles up his 34th touchback of the year. Tide lead at 45-14. Rick, we've been here in this half, game time, about an hour and 15 minutes. There has been so much that has happened in that hour and 15. This has been something to watch as a Tide have put 45 on the board offensively. And on that side, Rick, when you really start to get a high score like this, that's a lot of pressure on your defense. So defense, even though have given up 14 and a half of football, that's not an equal to 14 in a low possession type game. As Cananan directing traffic, he did that in the first game as he directs Hobgood to keep running and then puts it right over Grayson All's ear flap in his helmet and makes a perfect throw to Hobgood.
Yeah, and credit Cananan there. I mean, he gets out of the pressure. Look, we're right there. It's not anything we didn't do. It's just what he did to roll out, and then gives that hand signal to go and lays a perfect ball up.
Boy, Reese Watkins would be proud of that hand signal.
Yeah,
just that kind of.
Reese Watkins is going to join us tonight. He said got a fishing trip in Venice. Going to leave early in the morning, but he said maybe next week.
Yeah, there we go. Alls was in a good spot, Rick. I mean, you look at it. He was running hip for hip, just a better throw.
It's just so hard to cover someone that long, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost impossible.
And you hear it said, I mean, a perfect throw is going to beat good coverage some of the time, and that's what happened there. Timeout is the Hawks going to have maybe 2 more plays at it. They're at their own 35 as we resume action here. Cananan spins it a couple times, gets it out of his hands quickly, and a hook and ladder. Coach Mikey King, watching Thursday night football last night, said, yep, we can try that tomorrow night. Is a long, what was it, 3rd or 4th down picked up by the Buffalo Bills on a similar play last night in Thursday night action.
Yeah, what a play again by Mr. number 38. My goodness.
He's having a heck. I mean, Rick, this is the best half of football in his life.
He's got to be close to double-digit tackles here in the first half.
Brody Kirkland. For all Zay. Zay's gotten that T-shirt once or twice. He may get something with a Farm Bureau logo on it later in this week. He keeps working like this. Look at this set. Coach Steigner's thinking like me, hey, I trust that y'all prepared for all of this, but I'm going to burn a timeout just so we can discuss it. As the ball after.
I don't even know what to call that, man.
I mean, it was kind of a diamond, a forward, got a quad over here, made a little diamond shape.
You get Reese Watkins, I'm thinking flat like Liberty Bowl. I was like, man, it's a swinging gates, what we call that, or a flying V.
Yep, had a diamond with 4 wide receivers to the bottom of the set, and we're going to put 1 up top. And seeing all that creativity, Coach Steigner and Coach Hayden burn a timeout to think about it, talk about it. Tied with a big advantage, Rick, leading at 45-14, but
it was
you pump life into that locker room.
42-14 with minimal time left last time in the first half, and they got in the end zone to make it 42-21. So we keep them at 45-14.
Yeah.
Let's keep them there.
Yep. Could have saved $750. Rick just played at First Stream again. State charges us $750 per round to stream these ball games, and we've been appreciative of our supporters and sponsors: Exotic Stones, Pearl River Community College, Diamond Productions for stepping up. 1st and 10. Probably the last play of the quarter. Canan's dropped all the way back to his 38.
That's holding on Nolan Wilson. That's
flag
an easy call.
comes out, and then Colin Agana going to end the half with another sack. And Agana going to have a sack. And as Rick has told you, that's a holding. So that flag won't stop it, and that will allow Agana to get that sack, as he's got 2.5 of those in the half. We'll head to the locker room with a Tide on top, 45-14. Rick's got some arithmetic to tell you about here as we head to the locker rooms.
All right, let me take a breath here. So Hancock gets the ball first, and on the first play, Brody Kirkland intercepts a screen pass. Maroon Tide go in on the first play. Zay Dennis from 21 yards out to make it 7-0. Very next possession, Cananan drives his group down the field. He goes in for a 10-yard touchdown run. It knots things up at 7-7. Next Maroon Tide series on the first play again, Zay Dennis, 80-yard touchdown, makes it 14-7. Had a fumbled kickoff by the Hancock Hawks. Maroon Tide take over, settle for a field goal there at 17-7. Tide hold again on a 4th and goal, make a goal line stand. It stays 14-7. And then Zay Dennis on the first play, 97 yards for a touchdown to make it 24-7. Had a couple of punts by the Hawks. Macon Burnett goes in from 1 yard out to make it 31-7. Had another turnover on downs from the Hawks, and then on their 8th possession, a 51-yard touchdown from Cananan to Favre. That makes it a 38-14 game. Zay Dennis goes in from 24 yards out for a touchdown, and then closes things out with a 76-yard touchdown to make it 45-14. That's where we stand in the first half. A lot of possessions here. Both teams had it 9 times in the first half, and 4 sacks by the defense and a turnover.
That's incredible, Rick. And so inside of all that, Mr. Dennis, just to get you one more math equation, before I walk off. Kind of tell me what kind of
Mr.
exact
Dennis,
half
13 rushes, 326 yards, 5 touchdowns, and you said it, nearly identical to the last matchup, and 342. I remember that number because that's what we were averaging before the Hancock game in district play as an offensive unit. We got it again at the half, 342, and 6 rushing touchdowns, 16.2 yards per carry.
So you look at that, Rick, Mr. Football on that line for the 6A and Mitchell Smith. Then on the Mr. 4A football side was Mr. Ty Keys, who falls under our coverage umbrella with our Popperville crew. Ty, 14 carries, 306 yards, and 5 touchdowns in his playoff game. So you've got 2 Pearl River County backs with nearly 600 and some odd yards in their first halves against their playoff opponents. Something to be proud of and a really cool thing.
He's trying not to be caught. We called him out and said, watch out, because Mr. Zay Dennis is coming, and he said, not so fast.
Sure.
I got a good game going myself.
Wow, I'm going to get out your way and let you and Darren Uzel steer us the rest of the way here at the half. We'll be back after this 3-minute timeout. You have Ricky Whitaker and Darren Uzel tied up 45-14 at the half.
Hello, football fans. Devin Smith here, the broker and owner of the Smith Group Realty in Picayune, Mississippi. It's fall down south, and that can only mean one thing. It's football season. Our area schools have worked so hard to give us all something to cheer for and be excited about. I take great pride in my football roots in Pearl River County, and I am honored to serve our people. I look forward to helping residents old and new make Pearl River County their home. I would love to help you with any and all of your real estate needs. You can contact me at our local office at 769-242-0400 or on my personal cell at 601-347-2641. Or you can find me in the stands watching my favorite players under those Friday night lights.
Need a building or roof? Metal Building Supply specializes in pre-engineered metal buildings and components, and they even install metal roofing. They offer an array of styles, options, and sizes. Metal Building Supply will make it custom so you can make it your own. They are located at 3521 Highway 43 North in Picayune. You can look them up on Facebook at Metal Building Supply LLC or give them a call at 769-242-2630. Let Sean Glasscock and staff build you your dream building. If you're looking for a place for that much-needed pregame meal, a place to just take in the game, or a place to have your post-game celebration, visit Champion Sports Bistro. They are a family-oriented sports bistro located at 113 West Canal Street in downtown Picayune. With food and drink specials throughout the week, Champions is a great place to enjoy lunch or dinner. They are open Monday through Thursday, 11 to 10, and Friday and Saturday, 11 to 1. Champion Sports Bistro is Picayune's bistro for champions.
It feels good to buy local. Whether you're supporting your community small businesses, family-owned restaurants, or Farm Bureau Insurance, the local agents at Farm Bureau Insurance are dedicated to always helping you protect what's important. Farm Bureau Insurance is headquartered right here in Mississippi with local agents in your community. If you're shopping for car, home, or life insurance in the Poplarville area, call Kate Amaker at 601-795-4585. Or if you're in the Picayune Carrier area, call Jeremy Shesby, Colby Hawthorne, Colin Pinton, or me, Ross Gilbo, at 601-798-2861. And go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau Casualty, Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi.
Welcome into our halftime show, folks, here at Lee Triplett Stadium. Maroon Tide all over the visiting Hawks by a score of 45-14 at the half. Zay Dennis, 13 rushes, 326 yards, 5 touchdowns, and yes, he has touched it only once on 4 drives and went the distance. Been an incredible performance by Mr. Zay Dennis. And Darren, look, Canan's he's special, man. I credit him a lot for keeping his composure. He talked about that with us in the interview this week. Had a turnover early when they were down 7-0 against West Jones a week ago and bounced back from it. Came down, let it score and drive. It was 7-7, and then the Maroon Tide really hadn't looked back a whole lot since then.
Yeah, Rick, they had, man, that at the beginning of the first quarter, that first minute, 40 seconds, that 2 minutes, that was a long 2 minutes, man. I think 21 points were scored within that time. And, it was 14, no, was it 17? 17-7, early first. Hancock was driving, and when they went for it on fourth down and didn't convert it instead of kicking the field goal, at that point now, I would have went for the points and made it 17-10. When they did not get that was ball game. And we were sitting down there talking, and one of the guys said, "Hey, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Zay's about to break one for about 97, and then it's over." And that's exactly what happened. Zay broke one for 97, and you can just it broke the wheel of Hancock early on. Excuse me. Early on in the first quarter, and they really haven't looked back since. He was right. You're right, Rick.
Canan's going to make plays. What I've been most impressed with is the defense. 4 sacks given up, and how about that Brody Kirkland? I bet you he's got 10 tackles in the first half. He has been playing
some ball. The last 3 weeks, he has really elevated his game. That's what I told you this past week.
If somebody tuned in late, you'll hear this for the first time. If you've heard it already, it's okay. I'm going to say it again because it was that great. Brody Kirkland on that pick, he's up in a gap like he's blitzing. So when Cananan checks over for that screen, he ain't supposed to be there, and he peels out, read it like a book.
Yeah.
And he's right there to step in front of it.
Did he go out of bounds? I mean, I'm sitting here on the other side.
They said he went out on, at the 21, or maybe his knee went down. I think he slipped. Maybe his knee went down, but a great play. But the defense, man, everything that they've thrown at us that worked last time, the film study, and I credit this whole defensive staff for getting in that film room with those guys and studying. They have not been fooled by much tonight.
They haven't, and our coaching staff is still, although it's 45-14, they are still calling timeouts and coaching our secondary and our linebackers, our defense. They're still coaching them hard, and they're going to need it for next week, whoever we look at next week, Hasburg or Gula, and you say this game's not over yet. It's not, but it is at the same time. So, our coaching staff is still coaching our kids very hard, and I believe trying to get their minds right, for this game and then maybe for next week as well. But I don't know, Rick, man. It's just it was an intense first quarter, the first few minutes, and after that, it's just been. You can tell the Hawks have landed, and it's just.
They had landed. They had the mascot out. The mascot has retired to his nest at this point.
I don't see him. Mm-hmm.
He was running around. I thought that was kind of cool. But Hancock has traveled very, very well. Crowds are here and hanging in here for this senior group, and you certainly like that. But
you was talking about Cananan. He's had some good throws that early first quarter. I mean, he threw a dot down here on the sideline, and he runs the ball in himself too. So he is an athlete. Great feet. One thing about the kid I noticed out there, great feet. There's some times he should have been sacked, but his feet, his footwork is really, really good. And, his future's bright as well. It might end tonight here at Picayune Memorial Stadium, but,
been really cool, man. Got field level tonight. Got to see got to see Rel, and just saw him last night. I got back from Sophie's soccer game, flipped the ULL game on. I missed his carry, but they kicked the ball off, and he's back deep. The other guy catches it. He passes the guy up and just cleans the guy's clock on the sideline.
Man.
But, really good catching up with Rel. Saw BJ, saw Coop, of course, Amarion. Out here again too, and I think having those guys come into the locker room and talk about like, hey, this is your moment right now. Like, you don't know what's going to happen after you leave here. And
you got some of the Tidesmen from last year. I saw Brandon, Kanan, Ian, some of them boys that were heartbroken last year in Hasburg, and they're still it still hurts, and they're reminding these seniors, hey, enjoy every
minute of it. Yep. Very, very good thoughts by you. We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, Darren Uzo going to go around and look at this 6A bracket. We'll even give you some updates on Poplarville and past Christiane as well, and a couple of dog fights there with Macomb and Columbia. 45-14, you score here at the half. We'll be right back.
Rev up your ride with Topper World Truck Accessories, your one-stop shop in Gulfport and Slidell. Come in and talk to our experts on truck caps, tonneau covers, and spray-in bed liners. Topper World has next-day delivery and is offering a $100 rebate on select fiberglass truck caps. Our trained staff can get your truck ready to pull your boat to your favorite fishing hole or your camper to a dream vacation spot. Get to Topper World in Gulfport or Slidell for all your truck accessory needs, or look us up at topperworld.net.
Pit Lane Oil Change, located at 401 Highway 11 in Picayune, is a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the area for 15 years in the same location. They are a full-service oil change shop, servicing cars, trucks, and even servicing diesel trucks. Pit Lane is a Carfax top-rated service center. They offer new oil filter, air filter inspection, wiper blade inspection, power steering fluid top-off, check transmission fluid, coolant antifreeze top-off, and so much more. Their new hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and closed on Saturdays. Stop by Pit Lane Oil Change today and let them be your personal pit crew.
All right, folks, we are back here at the half. 45-14 your score here at Lee Triple Stadium. Got a little Caroline going in the background as well, and a good background music for Mr. Uzel, who's going to give us some scores. Let's look at that 6A bracket, Aaron, at some scores you have there.
Well, Hattiesburg is doing what Hattiesburg does, and they're leading. They're leading Pascagoula 14-7 at halftime, and we want Goulah to win, so they have to come here and play us next Friday night. But we also know Hattiesburg is they're very good. Is Tristan Keys playing tonight? Have you heard if he's dressed out?
Not dressed out.
He is not dressed out.
That's what we heard, was that he is not dressed out.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I guess he's just not going to dress out all the way to.
I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if maybe South State it's different, but no. Got a report that he's not playing tonight. But
well, they're leading Pascagoula 14 to 7 there, and on the other end, of course, we're leading 45-14. And then on the north side, we have Warren Central. They are. Let me get to their score. They were leading, I believe, 21-14. And then you got Neshoba Central is leading 24-21 over Ridgeland. So
that's an interesting one there, because Neshoba down 20-0 to South Panola. They were the one, come all the way back and win that game 28-27. And then Ridgeland, 10-1 record team on the same side of the district as Neshoba. Their district game, they lost 43-37. So a close game, even that loss. So this is one that I think it's going to be interesting. Neshoba Central hanging in there against a very good Ridgeland team.
I still think Warren Central's coming out of the north. So whoever wins out of the South 6A, I think they're going to play Warren Central in the north.
Had an early exit by Grenada last week.
Sure did.
That was a little bit of a surprise. What about, let's look at our other county schools. Jason Baker on the call there for Poplarville and Macomb.
Poplarville is 35. Try to get to that one too, Rick. I'm on max preps right now. What you got? You got a score 35-12 against over Macomb. Ty Keys is having a night as well. He's having five touchdowns.
14 carries, 306 and 5 touchdowns is what we had. So
in the first half,
Forever County well represented tonight.
Then our guy Dennis is 5 touchdowns as well.
Yeah, Dennis got 5 touchdowns, 13 for 326, almost exactly what he had last time, and the numbers here almost identical to what they were last time. Because remember that 342 I told you, I was like, this is what we've been averaging for 4 quarters at that point, and we were already at it. So Zay Dennis, 25.1 yards per touch.
So next week, Poplarville, assuming they hold on to this lead against Macomb, will face most likely Columbia. Columbia is beating Pass Christian 20-0. 20-0 at the moment, but we know Pass Christian they can score quickly. So that this game still it's not over, but it is leaning heavily to the side of Columbia.
Yeah.
So Poplarville and Columbia will be look like they'll be fighting it out for South State for a next week.
Yeah, and on the 7A side, a game that I was interested in looking at was that matchup between Tupelo and Germantown. Of course, you got Mr. Football for 7A for Tupelo and their big back, and then Russell Mitchell coaching at Germantown. Germantown, the underdog there, 14-21. Tupelo leads that one. And then Louisville, man, as good as they've been, they're in a tight ball game with Clarksdale.
Yeah, they are.
That's the team that was we used to face them back in the 80s, right? En route to that 86 championship, went through Clarksdale and schools like that. Gulfport all over Petal. I see that 31-10.
They are. And then Brandon and Oak Grove, looks like they're tied up 10-10 at halftime.
Yeah, Brandon, boy, just come in and won an ugly game against Ocean Springs, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And they
made it ugly. Had a running quarterback, ran him at like a Wildcat game, and won like a baseball score game.
Yeah, the coach stepped down not long ago.
Yeah.
Here comes Brandon. They putting it back together and it's surprising some people. And they that's a good one, Brandon and Oak Grove. And oh man, hey. What about old Macon scoring tonight, man? That's his first touchdown.
Got in, had back-to-back. He had a sack, and then, I mean, just annihilates his man, beats him. He's in the backfield, and then has a half sack with Nolan the next play. Love seeing him back on defense. Just a lot of sparks for this Tide team. And that kind of unity candle that we've been looking for and craving all year. We're seeing it tonight.
Yeah, they're putting it all together. And
putting it all together.
I'm glad Macon's back, and that's his first touchdown as a Tide. I mean, in high school.
Yeah.
You know, you would think when he told me that, I was like, there's no way. He said, yeah. I mean, that's his first one. You would think he scored bunches of them down there near the goal line, but that was his first one. That's what Taylor was telling me last week. But hey, congratulations to Macon. Glad he's back. Congratulations to the Tide. They're looking better. They're looking good. Like you said, Rick, they're unified and coming together at the right time. And hoping, pulling for Gula, that Gula will come down here. If not, we'll be making a trip north.
We will be paying close attention to that, and we'll do our best. We're using just these scoring apps to try to figure out what these scores are. And some of these things can be a little bit squirrely sometimes. But got about a minute and a half left here. Appreciate my buddy Darren Uzel coming up here and giving us some scores, talking about the first half. And we'll take one more long time out. When we come back on the call for this second half will be the voice of the Picayune Maroon Tide for the Talking Ball Y'all Media Group, Mr. Clay Sweet. He'll be describing all the second half action. We hope you hang around here for the second half.
Roll Tide.
At Planet Home Lending, you are more than just another transaction. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a veteran using VA benefits, or buying a secondary home, they have a home loan program that fits your needs. Planet Home Lending proudly serves Picayune and Pearl River County with FHA home loans, VA loans, USDA housing loans, and more. Give Melissa Rubel a call at 601-276-5058 or stop by their office located at 219C Telly Road in Picayune. Planet Home Lending will get you home.
Diamond Productions is a premier live production company specializing in audio, lighting, video, content development, and production management. With an uncompromising attention to detail and a standard of excellence that exceeds expectations, we deliver seamless events that engage, inspire, and impress. At Diamond Productions, the bar isn't set for us, it's set by us.
Go visit Heron Ford, located on Memorial Boulevard in Picayune, Mississippi. They are your proud local Ford Lincoln dealer. Whether you're looking for a used car or a new car, or if you have service needs, visit Herring Ford, once again located on Memorial Boulevard in Picayune, Mississippi.
Looking for a peaceful home-like community for yourself or a loved one? Welcome to Jubilee Gardens Senior Living in charming Poplarville, Mississippi, just minutes from Hattiesburg and Gulfport. Imagine cozy, garden-themed suites with wide doorways, step-free entry, safety rails, and a covered porch perfect for sipping coffee while watching birds and butterflies. Feel supported, not overwhelmed. Our all-inclusive services include daily housekeeping, fresh home-cooked meals at our Birdhouse Bistro, and a calendar full of wellness programs and social activities. Families say we chose Jubilee Gardens because it felt like home. One resident shares, "I spend my mornings on the porch drinking coffee and watching the birds. It calms me in a way I never experienced before." To experience the comfort and independence of Jubilee Gardens yourself, call 601-818-4838 or email jubileegardens.care@gmail.com. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's Jubilee Gardens Senior Living with dignity, safety, and joy in every detail.
Making decisions on when and where to further your education is a big step in life, so let Pearl River Community College be the destination for you. Pearl River offers the first 2 years of any major and over 42 career and technical programs. They have 3 locations to better serve your educational needs. The Hancock Center at 454 Highway 90 Suite D in Waveland, the Forest County Center at 5448 Highway 49 South in Hattiesburg, and the main campus located at 101 Highway 11 North in Poplarville. Pearl River Community College. Roll, River, roll. Protecting your personal belongings is a basic human instinct. You've worked hard for what you have. At Executive Storage, we are dedicated to providing you true, secure storage options and peace of mind. With 2 convenient locations to choose from, you can trust us to protect your personal, family, and business assets. Give us a call today at 601-798-4000 and let us help you protect your most prized possessions.
We're back here at Lee Triplett Stadium. Tide gonna have a 45-14 advantage as we get things started. Thanks always to Darren Uzel and my man Ricky Whitaker for leading us through the half. And any crazy scores that kind of stood out to you at this half, Rick?
Boy, just Poplarville dominating Macomb. We know how good Macomb is, and a scoreless Pass Christian score down 20-0 to Columbia last one we had, and the team that you and I talked about in our preview podcast this week, Neshoba Central, leading again in their game. That'd be 2 games. They beat Ridgeland. That's a 10-1 team on their side of the district. That'd be a heck of a win if they can pull that off. They were up 24-21.
That absolutely would be. Here's another booming kick down to the 1, but caught and returned there from Fortenberry. Fortenberry's got some fireworks in his past, and that kick return has a long kickoff return for a touchdown earlier in the year. Going to get this one up to the 28. Good job there by Darius. See what the time look to do here, Rick. Probably just more of the same, right? No real reason to switch things up offensively based on your numbers from that opening half.
Yeah, and given Zay Dennis's 13 carries, I mean, that's the best part of his 326 yards and 5 touchdown performance, 25 yards per carry. This may be his last series, depending on how they do on this drive.
I wouldn't be mad at that, as he's back there in that backfield with the Bull making Burnett in front. Boy, there's been a few of these tonight, Rick. Hancock's gotten tagged with 2, and now the Tide get 1. On movement before, where I just don't see anybody flinch. I mean, Jackson Harrelson up top's got it framed up well for us on the stream. I just don't see movement. Like, you see Hancock's guy, the defensive end on the right side, flinch, but I mean, it goes against the Tide.
The only thing I can think of, someone's lined up offsides and just don't realize it, and they're looking down that line. If that head's over the ball, they're calling it, but no movement.
No, it's just a funky look. from this crew. That's twice against Hancock, once now against the Tide. Tide going to run it up to the 26. That was with Dennis on the carry. Just a couple yard pickup. I'm going to bring up now 2nd and 13 after you had that 5-yard penalty to start. So Tide going to snap it from their own 26 over on the right hash. That's Junior James at the bottom of your screen. At the top of your screen, that's Jordan Hathorn. That's the 2 wide receivers. Dennis with a cut and holding on for dear life not to turn that into another sprint ahead was a good tackle. That was by Caden Dito again for the Hawks. Got help along the way by Jackson Knight. Tide want to certainly add to this lead, stay healthy, and then find out what's next, kind of on the agenda here in the second half. You don't want Cananan to catch a hot hand and some 3-and-outs or something to start stacking up and look at the end of this third quarter and this be more of a ball game than it has to be. But the first go at it offensively is going to be a good job by the Hawk defense, as that's another tackle made by Corbin Whitfield. Whitfield's going to end the night with a bunch of tackles for the Hawks, Rick. And you don't want to pump life into the Hawks, but they're going to get a 3-and-out. You helped them by moving, kind of that phantom movement call. Got the Tide 1st and 15. Didn't recover for them. Going to have to punt it away. Nolan with his heels back at his 18-yard line. A line drive kick. And that's being generous, Rick. Never got really about 7 feet off the ground, but it will dribble all the way down to the 31. Could have been worse results, Rick. That's the kind of low kick that can be blocked or even hit one of your linemen as it goes by. That was a really low kick.
Lucky it didn't. Somebody was closing in on it. Trying to see on the replay here. I think he was lucky just to get it off.
Yes, he was. Hancock going to take over at their 31-yard line. Ty going to have that put them away mentality here early in this half, because Canan's kind of like a streaky shooter. You don't want to see him see a couple layups go in and then turn around and he's scorching hot on you. He'd be tough to handle. Here he's going to call his own number off the right side. He'll fight forward up to the 37-yard line, ridden out of bounds there by Grayson Alds, and assisting him on the play, that was Javian Bolden.
Yeah, Cananan going to continue to play hard here, and he talked about it a little bit when we spoke with him this week. His play really inspires that defense, and boy, now it's just it's tough sledding for the defense to respond, being down 45-14, but certainly came out in the first drive and did a good job.
Yeah, they really did. Not allowing the Tide to move it. Got it back pretty quickly in his hands. Here's a running play from Cananan again. Look at him just shed tacklers, Rick. Just poor tackling a bit on the Tide side for the first time tonight. I really haven't beat up on our tackling a whole lot, but I mean, I have in mind what an athlete Cananan is, but we had him dead to rights about 8 yards deep into that run, but he's able to extend it, get it across midfield to the 49. Couple missed tackles. Good push away when Scott got there, kind of stiff-armed him. So 1st and 10, ball at the 49 of the Tide. He's got a back off of each hip, does Cananan. Looking over to Hobgood. He'll check it down to him. The catch is made, and a good tackle after the catch. That was all out in coverage. Makes a nice tackle after the fact. Just a minimal gain, a pickup of 3. Bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, Cananan really no choice for this offense but to bring in 2 extra backs to try to block Maroon Tide. I have them for 4 sacks in the first half, so a lot of good pressure there and hard to set plays up if you don't have time.
Agana's got a couple of those. Nolan Wilson with 1. The Bull with 1. 3 to the bottom, 1 to the top. That was the wide receiver setup. It's a flip out to the tailback. Hobgood's going to try to work off the right side with a tune of about a 5-yard pickup. Gets it to the 41 of the Maroon Tide.
And that's really, really good hustle there by Nolan, just getting down the line. Didn't make the play, but certainly never quit on it.
2 wides to the top, 2 to the bottom, and that's certainly the effort you want out of your 4-stars for him to continue to play hard. Speaking of playing hard, Cananan still getting after it too, to the 31. Going to have enough for the first down. If the score stays close, and it is not right now, Rick, I really thought that's what the Hawks would just try to do. It's kind of almost give the Tide a dose of their own medicine with Cananan running the football. He's just that good. I mean, he's done that well tonight.
That was in their game plan, I believe, Clay, wholeheartedly coming into this game was to do that. But when you fall down early, you got to change things up, and they've had to go away from that.
Yep, you had a couple turnovers that helped you dig a hole if you're Hancock. And then the Tide defensively have played well through large portions of this ball game. Here's a quick pitch and catch up to the 26-yard line. Just peppered his wide receiver with it. And a good tackle after the catch, but Aston Favre going to pick up about 7 when it's all said and done. Get it inside the 25, probably to about the 24. Nope, they'll put it at the 25 of the Tide.
Here's what's impressive to me, Clay, with all of this, with the defensive line play tonight. No Mitchell Smith. He hasn't played a lot of defensive snaps tonight. I think getting the bull worked back in, that's been part of the game plan. But to do that without him out there is impressive in itself.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, because hopefully you've got a lot more football to play, and the fresher you can keep guys on these long stretches. I mean, it becomes kind of a marathon if you make this run late. You want fresh legs, as here's another completion for Cananan. Been a while since one hit the ground with this passing offense. Short passes, but effective.
Yeah, McKinley in on that tackle, checked in at linebacker. Seeing some defensive play tonight.
Cananan with a towel in hand as he awaits the football, drops it right before he takes the snap. He surveyed out to the right. Burnett's flushed him to the right. To scramble for what he can get, and that's going to get him to about the 11-yard line. About another 6 or 7 yard pickup for Cananan on first down. They've done well on this drive. The one thing this drive has done, though, Rick, has bled the clock a pretty good bit.
Yep. Yeah, I was just thinking that as well, but what Cananan doing what he does, he's carried this offense on his back to open this second half up.
Yep, he's used to that filling. He's done that a large portion of last year and this year. He's leaked off to the left, and he may score. We'll have to wait and see. They're going to put him out at about the 2-yard line is where he's finally run out of bounds.
Be about an 18-yard pickup there based on the spot.
It'll be first and goal from the 2 here for the Hawks. 4:52 left in the third quarter. Hawks trying to cut into a 45-14 lead of our Maroon Tide. For the first time tonight, Cananan going to sneak under center. And look at this. Hawks going to move. Going to take what was our first and goal from about the 1.5, Rick, and back up to about the 6.5 after the 5 yards. It's probably going to be a quarterback sneak. You saw the guard just really trying to fire off the football. But
yeah, and it throws you off a little bit when you're not used to having the quarterback that close to you with a cadence. Cadence is different from shotgun. He likely collapsed and he's got more time, but yeah, gets an early head start there.
Yes, he did, and it'll cost the Hawks 5. Now the more traditional look for Hancock. And he's got plenty of room momentarily before he is met in the hole and stuck. What a big tackle that was. Beautiful form tackle made. What a nice job. We'll wait and see. I'm going to make sure. I think it's Scott, but I want to make sure we get the right credit where it's due on this tackle. It's Scott. Amari Scott sticking Kyson Cananan. It's 2 Kaysons on the night. I owe the family $10.
Yeah, you don't
$5
see him get hit like that much.
No, you do not. But he's been back-to-back times dropped back by this Tide defense. Brody Kirkland in on the play. As Burnett back there again.
Going to get another half. He had to split that one, too.
Bolden back there. That was a good pursuit, Rick. And it's the little things, right, that you go from first and goal from the 1.5, you back yourself up, and now you're staring at a 3rd and goal all the way back at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, and I was thinking, with the false start there and backing him up, you letting him get under shotgun with more room, it probably would have worked better for them anyway, but just a great tackle there by Scott.
That's maybe Scott's most form, textbook, physical, however you want to. It was the most impressive tackle from a broadcaster standpoint that we've seen. Going to be a timeout burned here by the Hawks. Rick, we'll keep it here after the half. We were able to get the bills paid. You look at it, 3:41 left in the 3rd. This has been an impressive drive by Hancock, but it's eaten up about 6 or 7 minutes of game clock, which is going to be certainly really valuable when you're trying to make a comeback effort. The spread currently 31 points.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to do it when you're down that much, but I think Hancock trying to keep it in Canan's hand, but also can't go 3 and out throwing the ball either and then punt it. A game could really get away from you that way. So kind of hard to know what they're thinking in that situation, but I think it's probably a combination of those two things. But Hancock, credit them, and I've referenced it already. You saw it some last week with West Jones, them go the distance but not be able to get points out of it. Had several drives like that, and had one tonight where the Maroon Tide was able to hold on 4th and goal. Let's see if the Tide can do that again here. I don't think we'll see the Hancock kicker regardless.
No, you got 2 downs to pick this up if you're the Hawks. You've got 13 yards in front of you. It's 3rd and goal from the 13. 2 wides to each side. You've got the tailback and Hobgood off your left hip. It's going to be a pitch and to the guy in motion trying to throw the football. Alds and Macon Burnett. Look at the impact Burnett's had on the defensive side of things tonight. And great. I heard you and Darren telling the story about this defensive staff. Boy, they have dialed in this week.
Dialed in, and that was meant to go back to Cananan.
It was.
You can
a
see him
Philly
calling
special.
for it, the Philly special play, and he's there, but just couldn't get around. Grayson All's in there.
Nolan Wilson blew it up.
Wilson just blew the whole thing up. So now had it 1st and goal on the 1, and now 4th down from your own 35-yard line.
Yeah, what a job by Wilson. I kind of missed him the first time through. Down the seam, incomplete. I missed Wilson the first time through. He created a havoc, blew that play up, and then Burnett and Alds right where they needed to be. But went in reverse, did the Hawks. Had it down, Rick, to the 1.5. Had 1st and goal from a 1.5 yards out. Moved early, and then Amari Scott with a huge stop. Didn't get fooled on a trick play. Turned it into a massive loss, and now Ty going to take over on downs, Rick, and really gain field position and doing so have it out to the 35-yard line. Making Burnett the fullback running in the play. Boy, he's had a heck of a second game back from his injury. He's made a huge impact. You've got McKinley out at the slot. He was joined by Fortenberry out wide. Here's a give to the tailback. Let's see if that's Dennis still in there or not. It's up to the 41-yard line. We'll wait and see who would credit the yardage with, and it wasn't. It was Jordan Hathorn getting up off that pile. That's who had the football for the Tide. 2:30 left in the 3rd quarter. Tide on top in the 2nd round of the 6A playoffs, leading the Hawks 45-14. Going to be 2nd and 3 from the 42-yard line for the Tide. Another give to Jordan Hathorn, who was smashed down. I believe that was Hobgood that got him.
Yeah, I think he was losing his footing there, slipped a bit, and Hobgood able to clean it up.
So 3rd and 3. See if the Tide can put a drive together, Rick. As explosive as the Tide have been, I don't want to see Nolan have to punt it away again. Love to pick this up and work on the clock. 1:35 left before our 4th quarter begins. Here's a toss to Jamari Hathorn. Hathorn loose. Spin move to the 40. He is really loose. Look at the spin move. Buy him a touchdown. As Moto going to have a 58-yard score. A spin move on the far sideline. Going to buy him a touchdown. Ricky Whitaker, a 58-yard variety.
Wow. And that's the things that Moto can do. Not really on the ball too great. Not too tight. Had it stuck out a few times, but the athleticism of that young man is incredible.
Yeah, what a dilemma, right? I mean, he put it on the turf twice and then reps off that kind of run. Some kind of interesting on exactly what to do with him, but he is special as he put a spin move on about the 40 on that far sideline that you can't coach, you can't teach. And it gets him a 58-yard touchdown run, and Rick have gotten it out to 52-14, have the Tide with 1:20 left in this ball game. Got nearly 60 in the first matchup with the Hawks, closing in on it here. What a offensive performance. It's been just chunk run after chunk run, massive rushing totals.
Incredible, man. And that time, Maroon Tide had to go 65 yards. They do it in a minute and 20 seconds. And, boy, it was Moto. He gets I'm giving him 59. He's 59 of it there on the third play of the drive. Goes in for his first touchdown of the night. And Moto now with 5 rushes, 60 yards, and a touchdown of his own. And Maroon Tide offense, the unit, 27 rushes, 414 yards, 7 offensive touchdowns. That's 15.3 yards per carry. And Zay Dennis, 21 yards per carry himself, 16 rushes, 333 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Incredible. And you look at it, Rick, this is in the second round of the playoffs. High stakes coming in, and the Tide just ripping it off on the ground. Big run after big run. A couple flags in here on the return as Grubby on the far side says flags all over the field. He's exactly right on that one. 52-14, Tide on top after yet another impressive scoring run. That was from Jamari Hathorn. Hathorn now with 8 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Yep, and Hancock Hawk fans, I believe we do have the hot clock now, but very few of them making the exits here in a runaway game, hanging in here to cheer these seniors on for their last game.
They've been great tonight, too. Great energy.
Yep.
A big number showed up. Not a really long trip at all, but they've shown up in great numbers.
Yep, mascot's back on the track. Everybody's still locked in.
Tide probably going to have to make a road trip, it looks like, next week. Rick probably going to have to go up to Hattiesburg for that South State. They'll be trying to return the favor of heartbreak. Broke the Tide's heart here last year at Lee Triplet. See if the Tide can duplicate that, return that favor up at Hattiesburg. What a rematch. Get a rematch potentially of a South State championship that came down to the final seconds. Ball in the air in the end zone for the Tide last year to try to win that ball game and potentially get that rematch. Tide have been great on the road too, so going on the road doesn't bother the maroon and gray. Cananan spins it a couple times, gets it out of his hands to Hobgood. Hobgood tackled on that far side. Almost Alls with another tackle. Less than a minute left here in the third quarter. So, the score a few moments ago, it looked like Popperville was playing well against Macomb. Aiden Foxworth, the 9th grader, in at safety for the Tide.
Oak Grove over Brandon, 17-13. That game's in the fourth quarter. Poppleville 49, Macomb 20. That's in the third. Boy,
Yeah.
Columbia has turned it loose all over past Christiane. They'll end their season. What a great job Jeff Stockstill's done in a short time, but 41-0 Columbia up on that one. If the score we have is correct, and Hattiesburg all over Pascagoula, 35-7.
Yeah, that's an elite Columbia team. I like them in a bunch of different classifications with a way that is loaded up. Coach Chip Bilderbank back there at Columbia has a state title there left and has come back and has done a tremendous job. Let's hear from Greg Ducker here for our Pearl River Community College sideline report.
Yeah, Clay, offense came out with a little bit of a slow start, but defense, boy, they really have taken over the game in the third quarter. Hancock, of course, has the big explosive play down to the one, and then the false start really opened the door for the Tide, and they took advantage of it on that great defensive stand. So we're going to see what the defense can do here going into the fourth quarter, and as we've got the hot clock now, got to see if we can run this thing out.
Yep, thank you for that report, Greg Ducker, from our Pearl River Community College quarter report. Rick, as we head into the fourth, Tide on top 53-14. Hattiesburg update, Rick. Did you see that score tucked in there?
35-7, yeah.
35-7.
Gulfport up all over Petal here in the fourth, 38-10. So they'll be looking to match up with a winner of that Oak Grove game. It's a tight one right now, Oak Grove on top.
If we were looking at the playoffs, Rick, on the NCAA, we'd point back to that win, Picayune over Gulfport, and want us to be seeded higher along the way. That was a really big win when you look what Gulfport's done after the fact. They're going to continue to play, it sounds like, on the 7A classification. Here's a nice toss from Cananan. It's caught at the 39, going to fall forward on the catch. It's Favre again.
Continuing to play.
Yep, he's going to do that for sure. Poplarville and Columbia going to set up for a rematch, a game that was played earlier this year.
Wow.
If Poplarville's able to win that one. That was pretty good coverage there for the Maroon Tide, as that was Jarrell Curry in coverage.
Yep, did everything right there. Had a hand on the shoulder of the receiver, not going to be called because he got his head back and used that outside hand to swat that ball away at the last minute. Great play.
Yeah, once that clock gets hot too, Rick, you start kind of looking a little tougher before you're going to get a flag too, although that was good coverage by Curry. Cananan with a completed pass at the 30 up to the 27.
A lot of young guys in there on the defense. I see 55 there at the end, 68, 51 on the other end. Get those guys' names.
Yep. That's Ben Thompson in for the Tide. We've got Foxworth, the ninth grader, Zayden at the safety position. Talked about Curry out in coverage. Here it's caught in the flats, and Alls has done that tonight, and that's what he's going to have to continue to do the next couple weeks for the Tide, and that's make tackles out in space. He was able to catch Hopgood. You don't mind the catch. You make the tackle right there, Rick, and it's actually a loss on the play. So a good job by the Tide.
It's like 68, Jason Jenkins in on the defensive line. 51 for us is
Amari Graves. 3 winds to the top, 1 to the bottom. Cananan going to take a shot over the middle. It's caught up to the 11-yard line. A spin after the catch. That's Collier with another catch.
McKinley in pretty good position there at his linebacker position. Just barely missed getting a fingertip on it. It's close.
Grant Hodges in on the play as well. 9 minutes left in this one. Tide trying to advance. South State Championship on the 6A level. Cananan going to take a shot on an outbreaking route and an absolute beautiful football delivered for a touchdown. Beautiful pass. It was secured by Favre. From our angle, Rick, we could really see it developed. If you wanted to throw it somewhere, that's a little square that you would have thrown it through. Yeah, perfect pass.
Kenny Baker in pretty good coverage, but no defense for the perfect throw, and that was a dime.
Yeah, it really was. And Cananan keeps playing, Favre keeps playing, and 52-20 as we await the PAT from Trahan. Trahan's been good in the kick game. Had a youngster for the Tide. Move before the kick. be offsides against the Tide. They've declined that penalty already twice tonight. We've tried that trick before. This game, Rick, is strange, man. You prepare, you do what we do, and then it's been similar in so many different ways to exactly the first matchup. I mean, the score looks to almost be the same. His SPAT's no good.
Certainly had that groundhog feel to it. Groundhog Day.
Didn't stop the Tide rushing attacking either. It's kind of been the main theme, right? I mean, you remember back, and then the Tide be able to pile up. What do you have over there? 414 for rushing. It was about that number in the first matchup. Cananan got his at times. That's kind of been the same tonight. Although I do think that the Tide have done a better job of tackling tonight in space in that first matchup against Hancock.
You think this is the series where we see maybe DJ Durr, Rico, or Foxworth in the backfield?
Man, I'm loving it. Like, you starting to be familiar with that guy, with those guys. That means we're playing well, right?
Yep.
Hawks going to tee it up, but on the wrong side, Rick. They were going to tee it up, but going in the wrong direction. They're going to make them flip it.
That's going to burn another
from right to left.
35 seconds or so off that running clock.
The Tide probably going to be conscious of an onside kick here. I think they snuck in one late in a similar situation in the first matchup. See what Coach King has instructed his fellas to do here with this kickoff off the foot of Nathan Trahan. He will dribble it ahead and just cleaned up poor Agana, man. It's 52-20, and he's got to take that kind of blow on a stinking onside kick. Ty gonna get it. That's just, whatever. 52-20, 5:50 left.
Yeah, you hate that, man, and that's really it. From the Hancock standpoint, that's how you execute an onside kick, but again, not really worth it at this point.
Yeah, and you get a lineman who's got a sophomore going to have bigger things to play for next week that just had to get whacked in the process.
Yeah, I mean, that's the game, though. I mean, Hancock's still going to continue to play.
Well, that's right. I'll tell you what it is, too, Rick. It's an ejection. Next level, 15, and a fine the next week.
Yeah,
which,
helmet to
and
helmet.
you know this. I'm not a football guy that played like you did, and I can be a softy. But it'll drive you nuts, and I know some people are completely turned off by the safety stuff on the next two levels. But there's a whole lot more youngins playing junior high and high school football. So if you want to do all the safety measures to the 0.5% that actually play the game, then it doesn't make sense to me that the rules don't trickle down. And maybe we did get a 15-yarder, as it is going to go down to the 35.
Yeah, it was definitely helmet-to-helmet contact there. It looks like Kendall Jett checked in at the tailback position.
Javery going to be in there as well. That's Rico.
Let's see if they don't give it to Rico right here.
It looks like Don, number 29, closest to us, with a white jersey, with a white T-shirt hanging out of his jersey. You got Junior James, wide receiver. Yep, that's going to be Donovan Banks over at the left end. That's DJ Durr, the fullback, and it will be a give to Jett. Jett just going to hammer it forward for a gain of a couple. Jett looked good in his touches last week. This group really looked good in his touches a week ago. It's going to be Rayburn at the quarterback position. He gets lost, Rick, a little bit, but he does a tremendous job holding the football for Mr. Cruz on these PATs and field goal attempts. He's as steady as it gets.
Yeah, you made a lot of references to him pulling the ball down or snagging a low snap and getting it back in position. And Eddie Cruz certainly appreciates that.
Yes, he does. Juju Johnson going to run out to our far side. He's the lone wide receiver. Mr. Durr at fullback. That's Aiden Foxworth at tailback. Foxworth has caught the pitch. Has made a good cut to buy him a couple yards up to about the 30-yard line. Goes Aiden Foxworth. 3:30 all that's left in this one. 3:30 between the Tide and South State. looks to be have to go on the road to a tough place to play in Hattiesburg. 3rd and 6. Javery at the wing, set up on the right. It'll be a give to Zayden Foxworth. A cut, he's at the 25, at the 22-yard line. A flag comes out behind the play. Mr. Foxworth was going to have enough for the first down, but it will be a hold against the Maroon Tide, so Tide going to have to do it again. Foxworth with elite vision and elusiveness made a really good cut there to buy himself the first down, but it'll be negated with a holding call. Running the play in as Corleone Smith. He'll bring the play into the huddle. And now he'll flank out to the left side, the lone wide receiver to that side. Ty gonna slip it in the belly. Wingback Javery. No gain on the play.
Young man at the wingback kind of gave a tell on that play, Clay. Leaned a little bit that way and then turned back, kind of told everyone he was going to get the ball. It's all right, young man.
He planted a kid at about the 15 last week. I was out exercising this week at the track, and I checked to make sure that guy wasn't still there. They had gotten him removed from the turf.
Yeah, the guys take advantage of their snaps. Love to see that.
Indeed, as we're at the 1:30 mark. Rick, it becomes old hat, and it really shouldn't, man. You advance to this next round. That's special stuff. I mean, that's rare air to be able to play in this ball game yet again that the Tide have earned their right.
Yeah, and look, when you got freshmen getting in to run the football in the second round of the playoffs, Cody Steiner going to take the clock all the way down and not take a timeout, but burn the clock and see if he brings in the punt unit or just goes for it here.
Yeah, just letting this thing try to waste away. 52-20, the Tide on top. Less than a minute to go, but Rick, you get to play in another South State championship on the 6A level. I mean, it just continues here for this Tide club. You'll have your hands full, obviously, with Pascagoula playing so hot to come in and be kind of dominated by Hattiesburg tonight. Tells you that Hattiesburg is a quality football team. Now under the 30-second mark is yet unable to move the sticks. You look at that score out of Hattiesburg, Rick, Pascagoula potentially one of the hottest teams in the state. News is that depending where you look, you'll find Tristan Keys as the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver, not in the state, but in the entire country. And they've done it back-to-back weeks without his services. Word is he's been in street clothes back-to-back weeks. We're in the closing seconds here. Cananan going to get one more shot at it. Kind of rolls back to his left. They'll find a wide receiver at the 45 of the Tide, making a run after the catch up to about the 22-yard line, but that will do it. Tide going to advance to the South State Championship round with a win tonight, 52-20 over the Hancock Hawks. A dominant performance for the Tide once again. Offensive fireworks all over the place. The rushing attack came in, averaging 362 on the ground, Rick, and even able to better that tonight. That was kind of the story. You got an early turnover from Brody Kirkland on a pick. You had a special teams mistake and a bobble kick from the Hawks. And then really the Tide just dominated from there. A great win tonight in the second round advances you to that South State round as the Tide win it tonight 52-20 on their home turf.
Yeah, Maroon Tide take a 45-14 advantage coming into the second half. Punt on their first possession. Hancock drops a length of the field really on the legs of Cananan, but a really good defensive hold there on the goal line, the second for the Maroon Tide defense on the night. Next Tide possession, Moto goes in from 59 yards out, makes it 52-14, really puts the game away. Cananan comes back and hooks up with Favre. for his second touchdown pass of the game, and that makes it 21 to 52. And then had some young guys come in and get some runs there. We saw Jet, we saw Foxworth. But overall, man, 30 rushes, 424 yards on the night, 14 yards per carry for the Maroon Tide offense. And Zay Dennis led the way, 16 rushes, 333 yards, 5 touchdowns, 21 yards per carry. And, boy, what's great about that, I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to say it again anyway, 16 rushes. If it was 36 rushes, I'd be a little bit concerned with that, but going to be fresh as a lily going into South State. So down to the Final Four, Maroon Tide fortunate enough to advance.
Yeah, Rick, and you keep saying it. I think it's a really good point because on 16 of those, 5 didn't end in tackles.
Right.
I mean, they can spare him the ice for the bath. You know what I mean? He can just scrubby dub in a regular old tub. He don't even need the ice bath after this one. 330. And then word is Ty Keys has gone over the 400-yard mark in his playoff action. So,
Wow.
man, these backs from Pearl River County have been unbelievable in this round of the playoffs. That's incredible.
They've been great. And Clay, I was fact-checking score checking the scores we have for Pascagoula to
fact checking's
Hattiesburg.
Good, too, with me up here, so do some of that.
So I went back and looked at another source just to make sure it was consistent, and both sources have it 35-7 still in favor of Hattiesburg. That game's late in the fourth quarter at this point, so looks like you and I are going to be taking this show on the road up Highway 59 north to Hattiesburg. Maroon Tide going to be there in Hattiesburg's backyard for South State.
Tide undefeated so far on the road this season and have played a bushel of them. I believe that'll be the 7th or 8th road game for the Tide. They're unblemished on those road trips, so that's not going to bother the Tide. A bit of unfinished business with the Tigers up north anyway from last year. That's still a bitter spot in the way that one all played out. So that should be a fun matchup. We'll have elite talent all over that field. It's a nice stadium. Will be a really cool scene in Hattiesburg next Friday, Rick. We can't wait to be in coverage. It's not lost on us how special advancing in each of these rounds. We started with 8. We'll be down to 4 here in the next few minutes left in the 6A classification. You can say the same for the Poplarville Hornets in the 4A class. And so really neat stuff to be able to see this team advance. Rick, what we know of Hattiesburg is that they can do it both on the ground and through the air. You've taken an early peek. Kind of tell the listeners what you know about our opponent next week. Kind of tease them for our preview podcast and what's going to take place also on the post-game podcast, as you'll hear from coaches and players. But tell us what you know about Hattiesburg, and then we'll put a bow on this one.
Well, defensively, I think they're a little bit better than they were last year, and that's saying a lot. And I think that 35-7 score, if it holds, tells you all you need to know about their defense. But we saw them really go to the ground. If Keys is not playing, they're the top wide receiver in the country. We saw them go to the ground with a couple of really good backs against Pearl River Central last week and just play a dirty game, kind of a Picayune-style game. Big physical offensive line that'll get after you. It's going to be a tough contest for the Maroon Tide.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun, Ray. When you get a rematch and that kind of storyline, that's a bit of a broadcaster's dream. We'll be able to talk about that more on our preview pod. Post-game pod should be some happy comments from both coaches and players. Greg Ducker and Jeremy Shesby going to do a fine job on that. Jeff Lossett, co-founder of the Talking Ball Y'all Media Group, will get that put out either tonight or early in the morning. We'll have Picayune action and we'll have Poplarville action, both going to advance. You'll have 2 teams left in Pearl River County still playing football when a ton of the state is not. That's something to certainly be proud of. And Tide going to take this one tonight, 52-20 over the Hawks. Advance to take on Hattiesburg next week in the South State 6A championship. Until that time, what do you have, a score for me, Rick, before we close out?
No, I'm just going to give it for the north side. Warren Central in command of Lake Cormorant, 21-7, and a really good game brewing between Neshoba Central and Ridgeland. Ridgeland's taking the lead in that game now, 48-38. So it looks like it's going to be Ridgeland potentially and Richland going to be playing, who did I say that other team was? late in the day. Now Warren Central for the north side, 6A.
Yeah, that's some intrigue up top of that bracket. Going to be a lot of fun until you hear from us early next week with our preview pod. The Tide win this one tonight, 52-20 over Hancock. Tide take it tonight, 52-20 over the Hancock Hawks. Until then, love God, love people.